All right, welcome to the Off the Rails podcast with Travis and the ghost of Mitch.
Yeah, that's me. I'll be in and out. You know how I do it, man. I'll be in and out.
Floating around over there. Oh, my Lord.
Here comes Travis and Mitch, better known as the Style Boys, with a new episode of the Off the Rails podcast.
Welcome to the Off the Rails podcast with Travis and the ghost of Mitch.
Yeah, that's me. I'll be in and out. You know how I do it, man. I'll be in and out.
Floating around over there. Oh, my Lord. Well, hi, everybody.
Hey.
And buddy, how are you?
Man, I like the hat.
Dude,
I like it.
this is raw dog version right here, right off the... I walked right through that door right there and sat down. It's been...
I'm pretty sure I still have paint dust somewhere on me or paint or something.
Probably.
I mean, I just came out of the... Look, there's some there. I just came out of the paint shop, so...
Is that a work shirt?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep.
You got some nice work shirts.
I do, listen, ooh, that's a topic. Yeah. I used to wear the white sleeveless shirts and everybody was making fun of me. And so then I went to, forget what I did, like a cotton shirt. And I was like, nope, I only wore one of those for a couple hours. And so I went to Academy and got some of these Magellans.
Magellan.
And I really like them.
I don't know. There's something about this T-shirt. Like I'm supposed to be killing my brand, which we'll talk about, but I'm supposed to be killing my brand and moving on. But I love the cut of these T-shirts. I just keep wearing them.
Who cares if you wear them?
Nobody really cares. But he bought a bunch of athletic material, and
Yeah.
I don't love those. I just don't love the way they feel on me. I think I'm past that age point or something. I don't know.
I've had people say that about me.
They don't like the way you feel on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it when you rub on me. You're hairy.
But I was just like, well, get over it, What are you going to do? Well, thank you. I just want to thank you guys. Listen, I'm going to throw this in there. Believe it, we're not just saying this. We actually have had people contact us and be like, what the heck is going on, guys? What's happening? Where's the podcast? We're here. We did have one, to be fair, that didn't make it through the audio version. So
my fault. It was my fault.
That kind of stinks, but we're back in the saddle. Nothing's changed. Everything is still
really
the same.
trying to make this thing. We're really trying, and
Yeah.
we got.
Well, how many
slapped in the
episodes?
face? Huh?
How many episodes can we say that?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I feel like we say that a lot, and then we just recently got slapped in the face by a listener who has quit his job, started a business, wrote a book, mentioned us in the book, and we have somehow maintained businesses, almost let a podcast fall flat on its face, and I can barely write my own name, so I definitely haven't written a book.
I think we need to ask him how to run a business. He clearly.
Yeah, I think he should be on here. Oh my goodness, it's just been a
I've got to
whirlwind,
send that.
dude.
It has. I've got to send this. I've got to post this picture so everybody knows that Trey got me an on-air sign for the shop door whenever we're recording, and this is the first time since he bought it that I can turn it on.
Did you forget to turn it on?
Yep.
How do you turn it on?
No, it's got. I didn't forget today. I'm just saying it's the first time we've recorded.
Yeah, but how do you turn it on?
It's got a switch on the side. Now it does have a remote, but I don't know if maybe I can't remember if it was batteries it needed or something,
or you need to actually find the remote.
Yeah, it may be around here somewhere. I'm gonna send this to you so you can see it.
Maybe your remote is with my wires that I searched for to be able to get ready for the podcast, because now I know one adapter when I rearranged my office, and I had to rearrange the office, which I sent you a picture to get flight command relocated, because I couldn't see out of my door. And I think a lot of guys are this way anyway, but especially military law enforcement guys, I can only sit for so long without being able to see out of a door. And I tolerated it for a while because that's really the way this office should be, is where I had my desk, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I had to
Right.
it. But during that process, I smashed the end of one of my adapters that I needed. And I was like, oh, I've got a couple of those. When I Amazoned it, I was like, I got a couple of those. I don't.
Well, if you order it now, it'll be there in 20 minutes though, because of where you live. So that's
not
good.
here.
I mean,
no, not here. You know, I got to wait
Mr.
an extra.
Common Man.
Yeah, I got to wait an extra day. You know, now that we're a little further south. I mean, that extra 4 miles south that we moved, just I don't know.
I mean, raise your hand if y'all live in the middle of nowhere and you wait a week to get something on Amazon.
That's you.
Yeah.
I know. Like, I'll send you something, and Kim will be like, "Has Mitch said anything about getting it?" I'm like, "You need 2 more days."
Yeah. Yeah. And I let you know the day we got it.
Yeah. I'm like, it's always a day or two longer than I think it should be, almost every time, you know. But man, I don't even know where to start in a recap. Like, hi, my name is Travis, and I mean, where do we kick this thing off at? Because so much.
Okay.
And for anybody watching the podcast, I apologize. My camera, because of the wire situation, my camera and my screen are not lining up, and I cannot talk to a camera. I have to look at the screen and talk to Mitch's face, or I feel stupid. So
Don't pay either. And my chair keeps coming in and out. I keep coming in and out.
coming in and out.
So, hey.
I don't know. That green screen processor is not like
So
it.
here's what I'll say about that. I do believe we're going to pick up some new listeners, and I'm going to start that out by giving Adam Crowder a shout out.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book, and I'm going to tell you the name of it. It's called Done Climbing: When I Left Corporate America to Bet on Myself by Adam U. Crowder. I read it, and I'm a pretty fast reader, but I'm also a slow reader because my brain is, thinking a million other things. It's not a very hard read. It doesn't go into the psychology and into the depths of, doing this.
So I may understand it.
Right.
It's possible.
So it's easy to understand. And it's just his story. And his story matches my story a lot. I was reading it going, yeah, brother, I feel you, So shout out to him. He's one of them that has also pushed us to hurry up and record another episode.
Yeah, you made me feel like crap, Adam. Thank you for not.
But that's the point of the podcast. The point of the podcast is we did this.
I've started
to
the CNC in the meantime. I've at least gotten that done.
That's right. So that's the recap. We've been busy. Thank goodness everything is fine. Where everybody's alive. Nobody is. Died. Our families are good and all that stuff. We're just busy. And when you run a business with multiple moving parts to it, it does get busy. And one of the things that we wanted to do while running our business was be home more. That's part of the reason I left the job. And so we do spend time with the kids and with the wife, and we go out and we do things. So,
when did
the
we start doing
podcast
that?
it is a priority, but it has to be when both of us have a million things not going on at one time. So that's really it.
I think that's the hardest part for us is the distance that we are. And we have 2 good businesses that are pumping and consume a lot of time. And it's just the coordination is just hard. And I think where most podcasters are kind of together, or they're like, hey, Tuesday, I'll be at the studio, we'll meet, and we'll do the podcast. And while we're trying to do a remote deal, I think it's just an added challenge. It just is.
Yeah. And I'll say this, Thomas and I are planning a trip to go up and see Travis one weekend.
Yeah. I got to give you the one day I have in May.
Bingo.
I have one day.
We are still, that's been a week ago, and both of us are still going through our schedule trying to find out which weekend we can go out to eat one night together.
Oh my God, yeah.
So it's not just a podcast, it's everything we do. Imagine living in this world where everything you do is, where am I going to be? Am I installing? What time am I going to be home? Stuff like that.
I'm so sad that you guys, I'm sad that he didn't say this maybe 2 weeks earlier, because the day that I have available is the Franklin Rodeo weekend. And we have tickets for Friday night to go. Mm-hmm. And I looked real quick. As soon as you called me, first thing I did was look, and they're sold out. Like this rodeo, it's not a huge venue anyway, but it's a good venue. It's a good indoor venue. Weather and all that stuff's not a factor, but if you don't buy tickets as soon as they post them, they're gone, And I was like, man, let me look real quick. I was like, cause I was going to ditch our Friday night tickets and move them to Saturday night and get you guys 2 tickets. And I was like, man, we'll hang out at the rodeo. Everybody will love that. And
yeah,
done.
Sold out.
Yeah. And he just texted me. He's like, I heard. I was like, yeah, whatever. May 16th.
May 16th?
May 16th.
What day is that?
It's a Saturday.
We're going to do it live right now.
It's the way we roll.
I think so, because Thomas is actually, dude, our lives, I'm telling y'all, man, our life, you think we're making some of this stuff up.
No, I have a niece. I have a niece graduating, and then I have my oldest daughter's graduation. Then I have one weekend off, and then my youngest daughter's graduation. And then you've got a couple of things going on.
Yeah, we've got some future in-laws that are graduating, 2 of them this year. Tommy is house sitting May the 15th through the 22nd. So if we're up there 2 nights, that may affect what day did you say? Yeah. So we'll look at that and see tentatively, but it don't have to be May. It may be, June or something. I don't know. Anyway, people out there working going, are they serious right now, man? I'm trying to
I'm trying to sand stuff, and they're trying to figure out what the hell
that's
they're
literally,
doing.
yeah, we do this all the time. We're like, hey, can we do the podcast here? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, wait, something, this and that.
And I'm a little punch drunk, so I mean, I can't be held liable for comments and phrases today.
Yeah, this one just Travis is going to try to kind of keep everything under control, but
I just got a super weird text from Bergsma.
He commented on something. Jason, we know you're up to no good.
Literally, mic check. Is this thing on? First topic. Yeah. What happened to anti-CNC Travis? Inquiring minds want to know.
Live. We're getting. I mean, I sent out that picture. So
did you?
Yeah, I put it on Facebook.
Yeah, Bergsma. We have a I don't have a CNC. We have a CNC now, and it's rough.
So I think
it's great, but it's not.
So, let's start on that because that's probably the biggest update.
Oh my God!
As far as
I wasn't prepared.
Well, go. You got to see it now. What?
Well, I guess. Am I like peeking out? Because I feel like I'm peeking out. I guess the first thing, So we bought a Shop Saber of 5x10 Pro table, and I will say after doing a training session with Laguna and doing a training session with Shop Saber, they are wildly different in their training process. So the Laguna training I did, they actually sent a Laguna rep down. Now it cost. Now it was $3,500 or something like that, plus all of their incidentals, I think, something like that, crazy. And it was really good in-depth training. Shop Saber flip. We went to Minnesota. Ironically, it was colder in Tennessee the day that we were in Minnesota than it was in Minnesota, and they had snow on the ground. So that was weird. We went in February.
I can believe that.
Yeah, it was weird. And I could do a whole podcast on just the experience of going to Minnesota alone, but I won't get into it too much. I mean, we got to a hotel it was no longer a Hampton Inn anymore. Somewhere between us booking it and arriving, it was no longer a Hampton Inn.
Typical.
It was just a hotel. So yeah. And then, so we went to the Shop Saber training, and so they start you off with the tour of the plant, which was super cool. I mean, it really was. You would have wigged out. I mean, it's just one of those things, and you're seeing machines made. They're kind of telling you the history, and they're telling you, kind of how, they're showing you like where they've expanded. We started here, we were making, and now we're doing, so it's kind of neat. And then they show you this giant machine they have that's actually a CNC to make the CNC.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. And it's a crazy story and all. And then you go to the training. And I have to say, to be fair, I don't know that the training is worth it when you get there. I really don't. It was mostly on software, which we don't. Now it comes with the machine. We've used it a little bit, but we don't really use it. We use a different cabinet software. So I don't know that going up there is worth the trip. Let's just say that. Wasn't a bad experience. Wasn't a bad experience at all. It's just different. Now, the flip, okay? The Laguna customer service was god awful and terrible. I hated every moment that I needed to talk to somebody. I call Shop Saber. I've called them 3-4 times in one day, as we were getting rolling. And if the front lady answers the phone, I just say, hey, can I talk to the nerd booth? And she passes me right through. And that's one of that's one of the things that is cool about the tour is like you walk by the room and you see all the guys in there, all the people in there that are actually the call center, so to speak. It's them. It's not outsourced. It's not, another place. It's actual, like I called yesterday actually, and the guy that did our training class was the guy that answered the phone. I mean, he was on shift for, to do tech support that day. And they are phenomenal. I mean, just absolutely hands down great as far as that goes. So I would much rather have what I got from Shop Saber, even though the trip up there was cool. It was neat. And we were there day home. Like there was no frills about this trip. I mean, It was like we flew home Friday morning. We were in the shop at 10 o'clock Friday morning. Yeah. I mean, like it was.
Well, that ain't much of a vacation.
It was not. Business was rolling. And that's probably the biggest challenge. And that's what created the most, I don't know, discord in my life, is trying to coordinate this change, this turnover, right? Because you're changing from a table saw shop to a CNC shop, and it's a major undertaking. I mean, a ton of electrical work, a ton of electrical math, if you've got a building like I've got, and then just logistics. They're producing so many machines, they don't want to overquote you on a delivery time, so you're kind of in the dark, which I get. It sucks, but I get why they don't do that. Now, when it hits a certain stage of production, they're in contact with you and you're starting to get a timeline. But from order to getting to that stage, you're kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what to plan for.
Well, how long was your wait?
Okay, so we ordered the 1st of December, and we got it a few weeks ago.
I think something like that, yeah.
Right at the end of March, 1st of April.
So y'all are somewhere around the 4-month mark then.
Yeah, I can look at my pictures and I can tell you when it got here.
Getting it in.
So yeah, I mean, so it wasn't bad. I mean, they told us 6 to 8 weeks when we ordered. I figured because of end of the year sales and pushes they were doing, I figured it was going to be a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was some weather issues. The truck that was supposed to pick up our machine the morning that it was scheduled to go pick it up slid into a ditch because they got 16 inches of snow that weekend. So, that threw a little bit, but all in all, I mean, it was a great experience. So what day is this picture here? March 19th.
Yeah, okay.
Got it. And that's a fun experience. Measure your door before you order this machine.
All right, good to know.
Yeah.
And you sent me pictures of your shop basically empty.
Yeah, we pretty much I mean, I sold a ton of equipment. Shapers are gone, potato saws gone.
I was there for that.
I'm down 2 table saws. Yeah, you were. Yeah. I'm down 2 table saws and never thought I'd be down saws. I mean, we just got rid of a ton of stuff because we needed not only the room, but we didn't have the voltage or the amperage or the whatever electrical term you want to use to run it. We were out of hamsters, but then getting all that in, getting it wired, then you get to work with, then you need ducting. And that's a whole nother Norfab. Anybody who has anything to do with Norfab, screw you. I don't care. Yeah. Yeah. Call Spiral Ducting. Talk to my boy, G.I. Joe at spiralducting.com. That's literally his email address. Great. It was a $3,000 price difference, and he was okay selling me ducting without me buying a dust collector from him. I mean, the guy at Spiral Ducting, pretty much first conversation was, so what kind of dust collector would you like to go with this? I was like, oh, I mean, I've got a 5 horsepower Grizzly. I think I'm okay. And it's only servicing the CNC now. Like, we rearranged everything. I was like, it's servicing one machine. I think, well, I don't know about CFMs. I don't know. It's going to be really hard to get that to work. I mean, just instantly. And I'm like, no. So Norfab can go to hell for all I care. I mean, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Raw dog. I'm tired. I told you. But the
we have not
ducting
been
guys,
off work, and we have not had supper.
No. But spiral ducting guys were amazing to deal with. They were out of Minnesota. They're like right down the road from Shop Saver, ironically, but got me everything I needed. I got everything in 6 days.
That's a good turnaround.
Including a couple of custom parts that they made for us, because I guess that is a little bit of a lie. I did connect the edge bander to it because it's kind of in trunk line. We had to buy a new edge bander. That's a field trip story we'll tell here too.
It's on the list.
Yeah. But
you guys are going to get so many stories, man. It's going to be crazy.
But the edge bander's right in line with it, so it made sense, which I will tell you, by the way, best idea I've ever had to put it where I put it. Because I can take parts right off the CNC while they're finishing. I'm edge banding my own parts. So it worked out great. Shop Saver does tell you it's going to take up a little bit more room than it does, but that's good. That's good, because I thought we were going to be super tight, and we're tight, not super tight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they want you to have some clearance space and things like that. But I mean,
let me just interrupt.
Yeah.
I heard you say something. So the way my shop is designed is raw materials come in the front and finished product basically goes out the back. And the table saw was in the front, and then you get to the planer, and then you get to the assembly area, planer, radial arm saw, table saw. When you guys are thinking about doing anything in a shop like that, think about your process. If you can put your equipment in order based on your process, whatever process that is, do that. Don't walk to the back of the shop, do the next step, and then come back to the front of the shop to do the next step. It sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but I'm telling you, it's a huge deal. So I just wanted to throw that in. Set up based on your process.
Yeah, we actually debated about, there was one of our racks, our plywood racks. We actually kind of debated last minute about moving one of them. And it was really a difference of probably 10 steps, and I was just like, I think the right move is to move the rack. And you kind of just didn't want to, because our racks were bolted to the floor. They were drilled out and all that stuff. So we had, undo all that. And then I'm like, that was 20 minutes worth of work. And now all those steps are saved over and over and over and over again. And I'm so glad we did it. It fixed a problem where it took one of our racks out of the garage door area, where we had to, now we no longer have to worry about hitting the overhead door when the door is open with the forklift taking stuff off the top. Where all of our high stuff, we can fully access the top rack easy now.
Yeah. By the way, seeing you maneuver that forklift through your shop while I was up there was funny.
It's tight, wasn't it?
I mean, guys, when I tell you he had 4 inches on either side of that forklift, he was running that thing.
This shop is not meant to have a forklift running through it.
I said, man, if that was me done, it'd be over. It would be destroyed.
Oh, you should have seen me coming through with a pallet of drawer slides yesterday to get all the way to I had to take them out of bay door 1, go outside, go out the back bay door, and then come the full length of the shop down up by the shop bathroom. Like that's where they're at. And I drove them suckers right to the shelf. I said, I'm not moving every one of these things. I'm just not doing it.
I'll tell you who not to let drive in your shop. And I'm going to say it. Butter Smooth.
Butter Smooth can't.
Don't let him do it.
Not a forklift operator?
China.
Yeah. Well, this one, and everybody who knows anything about a forklift absolutely hates our forklift every time they get on it. Like, it doesn't matter. And I don't know anything about a forklift, right? Like, this is really the only one I've ever drove, so I think it's great. But it doesn't have a shifter on it. It's got one pedal, and somehow the left side of it makes it go forward and the right side of it makes it go backwards. And it's not a split pedal or anything. It is one pedal.
Like a rocker pedal.
Yeah. But everybody who's like driven real forklifts, like, this is a piece of car. When we were moving it in, one of the guys from next door, they brought their big forklift down and helped us move it in. And because I didn't measure the width of the door, we had to do some do-si-doing with 2 forklifts. Yeah, carrying a CNC together at the same time.
A very expensive CNC, by the way. It does not need to fall. And
the main guy who paid for it is just, all he's can do is stand there and watch and just hope that nobody drops. But I let them drive our forklift because they move equipment together all the time. I was like, they make bakery equipment, like 300-foot ovens, 3 feet, 3 layers tall, and then they deliver it. And I was like, I just need to shut up and stand in the corner. Let them talk whatever language they talk to each other. And they did a great job helping us. Phenomenal. They saved us a ton of money. We went and took care of them a little bit, so they could do a nice, dinner or lunch or something. But it was like $1,600 to rent a telehandler for a day, and they brought their big, and our only problem is if there was any weather, neither one of our forklifts can operate outside if it's slightly damp. So we were just like, please do not sneeze outside while we, and luckily for us too, it helped us because of the snow truck. Ours was actually delivered by Hot Shot. So it was on a gooseneck.
Okay. Yeah, that helped.
So it was a little lower, I think, than an 18-wheeler trailer.
Yep.
So that was nice. But but there's a lot that goes into it. And I could do a whole section on planning for a CNC. It's a lot.
Well, maybe we, just throwing this out there, maybe we do a mini episode on it.
Oh, well, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just get to episode 2. We're playing special episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can kind of take a deep dive into, and I think you also need to have a little bit more experience under your belt as far as the way it fits your shop, what all has changed, what do you like better now, what fits together.
Yeah, we don't even have our construction technique exactly down yet.
Right.
Like we've cut 2 jobs, I would say. I was able to produce 2 jobs that were not they came out within tolerances of, what we liked, and we were good. But there's a couple of different ways that you can cut the material for your assembly process, and to get your gaps, because you do get some gaps, because you're dadoing now versus not dadoing. But I'm telling you, man, like I cut a sheet today, and it was probably the longest sheet that I cut. And I want to say it was like 13 minutes, something like that. And I know a lot of people, because I know you're like, I can cut a sheet faster than that. But that's all the
perimeter
dados.
cutting only, yeah.
Yeah, that's all the dados, all the pins, and then it's also the fact that all the measuring goes out of the window for assembly. It's everything's lock and play, So it's a different world. And yeah, Bergsma, I said I'm never going to do a CNC. And honestly, most of that was around. I just never thought I'd have the opportunity to do a CNC either. Some of it was ignorance, I'll admit. Not knowing, but there is not as much craftsmanship that goes into making the cabinets. I will say that. But like I told our new guy, to me, the real craftsmanship of cabinetry is in the face frames anyway.
And the design.
And yeah, and the design. But the actual like pretty part, the nice part, the elegant part, that all comes in your face frame work, which is why I hate Euro trash cabinets, because they don't have any of that.
Now, the day we go frameless, I'm shutting the shop down.
Well,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to say that's not going to happen here at all, because I'm finding applications where it is beneficial, but it's not what I prefer or what I like. I would just say that.
Yeah. And for those of you who may not know, there is the biggest two debates in cabinet making is the CNC shop versus the table saw shop, and frame versus frameless. You can go do your own research and looking into that. And most of it is tongue in cheek. Like, we're out here to make money, dude, at the end of the day. I mean, you can take that argument down to, and it's the same thing with people saying you have to build your own drawers and you have to build your own doors. And, what are you going to build your own hinges and machine your own screws and build your own drawer guys? Like, stop. It's not, none of that's possible, right? So there's this huge cloud of craftsmanship versus some machine cutting it out that, you just plug and play or whatever. And it's really not like that. I mean, I give CNC shops a hard time just because I don't have one, right? I can. That's the lane I'm in right now,
yeah. And it's a different element,
It's a different element. But if you are building a good product for the customer and it lasts, generations or however long these cabinets wind up lasting, they're built correctly with using good materials and they have good finish. And I know, Travis, I know you run the best undermount guides, and, we run good undermount guides and we run good hinges, and, so all that kind of stuff goes into it. That's what you're paying for with the cabinet. The customer doesn't care what machine cut it out. We do. We have to figure out what's best for us. When I get a CNC, it's going to be when it can run a lot during the day, a lot of days a week. That's in my business. That's not everybody's business. That's my business. That's when a CNC makes financial sense. It is an investment. Trust me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it would speed you up. It would speed you up. Yeah. But I've tried to figure out how to get a CNC in your shop. Like,
it's not going in the front room.
You don't think so? You don't think you can get it through the double doors?
Well, we'd have to take the plywood rack out, which I guess we could. I've never opened that door. So the plywood rack is open. Well, I don't know. It's covering half of it up on the backside. So
yeah,
but that'd be it. But it's probably, it's wide enough to get it in. That thing's probably at least 6
feet. The problem
is
it would have to come in the narrow way through the door, so it's long, which that's the hardest way to pick it up.
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
Yeah, see, that's it. I ain't getting one.
Yeah,
y'all can build that trash with that trash machine if you want to. Jason and all y'all, just trash. I'm gonna find a new podcast host, and I'm not doing this anymore.
It's cool though. It's so mesmerizing though. Like I haven't got to where I'm comfortable walking away from it yet. I did a fly cut today, which if you don't know what a fly cut is, that's just smoothing off the spoil board, and getting it back to reset, which I didn't even need to do, but I'm still in my practice sheet of spoil board. So I was like, let's take it out one more time,
learn it while you can.
Yeah. While nobody's upset about me messing up material right now, I'm like, let's do it. Let's get as much practice. I mean, I did 2 cabinets today. They were like, I don't know, 12, 14 inches wide. And they're 2 exact cabinets, but I did 2 different techniques as far as like, yep, right, gone.
Carcass assembly.
Yeah, as far as like dado technique, qualified tenons versus blind dados. And I wanted to see the 2 techniques, so we just threw 2 sheets on there and then just let that, and they serve 0 purpose. But I just wanted me to see, and I wanted Derek to see exactly what the 2 options were and what tolerances we could tighten up. Because, we want it to still look like a table saw cabinet at the end of the day. I want it nice and tight, just like we dialed it in with a table saw. And it's capable. The problem with like the dados and stuff is that, you have a little bit of material variance.
I'm about to say that's your biggest problem.
Yeah, if you don't give yourself a little bit of room, then you don't have enough room for the material variance, So, and it's the same thing that guys who are dado in their cabinets anyway they have the same problem. I mean, it's not a new problem. It's just I've got to figure out a way to mass do it, and without spending a whole lot of resources to figure out, So some of us just troubleshooting on our own. But
and that'll come with you assemble 50 cabinets, and you're like, okay, 48 of these dados aren't big enough.
Yeah,
we need to make an adjustment. Or you assemble 50 cabinets, and it's like 50 of them are loose. We can tighten it up a little bit. It just comes with time. There's a lot of learning on that. You're basically starting over now.
And when we talk about tolerances, I'm talking about like I opened a dado up like a second of an inch today, and we're looking at it going, I think we should have only opened at a 64th. Like that. I actually should be talking in thousandths of an inch.
Yep.
But I don't want to say thousandths of an inch because I will say a wrong number, and people who know what I'm supposed to be saying will be like, what the hell? That's like 2 football fields, Travis. What are you talking about? So I haven't gotten comfortable in speaking in thous yet. I'm trying to get there, and then just doing it in decimal form altogether is like, I said something yesterday to Derek in decimal form. He just kind of looked at me, and I was like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like, it's that tight, to get everything lined up. But it's fun. It's a fun new experience. So I'm doing that and 3D printing at the same time because they're very close to each other.
Yeah.
And they both speak in G code, and so this computer, if it just exploded right now, I would understand why, because it's running my 3D printing software on it. It's running my CAD software for drawing 3D stuff. Plus it has Mosaic, and it's running the podcast software. So if it just goes up in smoke right now, I'd be
suckers.
But it's
suckers hanging on.
And it's probably 8 years old. Like it's no longer supported by Windows. So I mean, it's like 8 years old. So if you see smoke,
mine's hanging in. I wonder how many fans I got going.
Oh well, you got a new supercomputer.
Yeah, I got they don't know that.
No.
Do they not know that? No, we did the interview.
The
YouTuber.
No, you didn't have that computer then, did you?
I had the old one then, didn't I?
I don't remember when we talked to Drew.
Anyway, I don't remember. It's got like 20 fans in there, and
It's a fun podcast. So if you missed that episode, go back and find the one where we did the interview with Drew Fisher.
I think it's the last one we uploaded.
Might be.
One before last. Anyway, we've got 50 things to get to.
Yeah.
So if we're going to get out of here.
And I meant to start a stopwatch when we started, and I forgot.
That's fine. We're at 38 minutes for those of you wanting to know.
Well, that might not be podcast time. We'll see. We'll see how much it actually makes it.
Yeah. We're at minutes.
It may be wrong and uncut so that it actually makes it to the YouTube world.
You know what I say? Ship it tonight. We get done, ship it, and say, there you go, folks. That's what you get.
If I could survive this without too many bathroom breaks, cussing too much, or knocking the microphone off the stand.
We'll have to take, I'm pretty sure we'll have to take at least one break during it. We're going to be here 6 hours. All right, anything else you want to hit on?
Yeah, 6 hours. I want to hit on that real quick.
We got like 10, 15 episodes to make up for. So
no, I know. No, that's it for, we'll talk about it more, but I don't want to take up, I don't want to consume the podcast, but
because I don't have anything to say about it.
But a big shout out to the bakery guys. I know they're not listening, but we appreciate them helping us a ton. And Shop Saber has been, again, just phenomenal. I mean, they're producing. I mean, you look at YouTube, or you see a Shop Saber CNC, and
in the cabinet world, that's primarily what I see.
Yeah. And we're rocking a full 12 tool set right now, and I got to have every one of them. So
yeah, good.
Next is doors. We're working on our doors,
Do it.
our CNC doors. So we're gonna do one piece MDF doors for a little while. See how we like them.
That'll save you a little bit of cost
And time
and headache.
Yeah.
And sending them back. But I'm not saying that. I'm not going to tell everybody the stack of drawers that you have in your office. I'm not going to say anything about it.
The drawers are coming eventually too, because we can dovetail drawers on there too. But yeah, Shane, sorry, but I'm trying to cut you guys out as much as I can. I mean,
good. That means I'll get mine a day or two earlier.
Yeah, it's not personal. I mean, it's not personal at all. It's all actually it is personal. It's all about the dollar.
All about the dollar. They got a new diamond cutter, by the way, for trimming the ends. And you talk about zero tear out. I mean, zero. It's a shear cutter. Yeah. And I mean, they are beautiful. I actually called him today when we were painting those drawer fronts. And because he said, hey, the doors are right size. You know, he always acts like they're going to be off and they're not.
Right.
You know, and there's a story behind that I won't get into right now.
I think you told it. I think you told it.
Yeah, I may have when I dropped my tape measure and told him all of them were 1/8 of an inch off, and he goes, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But anyway.
After he spent the entire day going through the shop checking tolerances on machines.
That's right. Yep. And it turns out it was just my bent screwdriver. I mean, my bent tape measure screwdriver. What in the world?
What do you measure with a screwdriver for?
I don't know.
There's your problem. That's what's wrong.
Mitch, I tell you, buddy, if you use a tape measure,
I wanted my door 7 screwdrivers long, and you only sit at 6.5.
He was like, brother, I ain't trying to argue with you, Mitch, but you need to check your tape measure. And I looked down, I was like, this idiot. I looked down, and that sucker was caved in. And I said, oh, no, Shane, Mr. Shane, I'm sorry, Mr. Shane. But the good news is I didn't lose my cool with him on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, I was, hey, I'm having this issue, you know, whatever. But anyway, I called him today, and he specifically asked, how does the end grain look? And I said, the end grain looks perfect on these. And he spent a lot of money on the diamond shear cutters.
Well, I should have a delivery showing up in a day or two, so I'm going to check them out. I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah, check your sizes too, because they may vary a 64th, something like that, but they're going to be dead on. Yeah, I know it. I've got a lot to go through, and this is my stuff, so I don't know if you have a list, and this is stuff that I got off our notes.
Do I look like I came with a list? I didn't even come with a change of a shirt. I still have my working hat on. I mean,
Dude, it's kind of weird just walking in here. Like Trey was still down there working on something whenever we started. And Tammy turned the on-air sign on. She was like, I said, do you want to turn it on? She goes, yeah. So she wasn't excited.
But this may work great for us. I mean, not having the break and having to come back down, you know, just go straight from work, do the podcast, you know, and move forward. Yep. I mean, maybe that's the fly in the ointment we've had.
You're going to call me at like 10:30 in the morning on a Wednesday and go, sit down. Let's do it right now.
I don't ever see that happening, but that would be fantastic. You know, oh man.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to kind of go over, and some of this bleeds into both of us.
All right, well, I'm going to lean back. You talk for a while, and if I feel like joining in, I will.
Yep, so we've covered the fact that we're in a book. That's my second book. I'm not bragging. It's my second book I'm in.
What was the first one?
You guys know that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was, it's about Southern Sweet Bee and Mike Keller.
Okay.
You know, that whole situation. I'm going to leave that just like that. They can look that up because I don't know. I mean, the case is over with now, but he got wrongfully terminated and he won the lawsuit. And I was one of them that kind of went and saw the lawyers and told him a few things. So anyway, he just kind of mentioned it in the book. It wasn't a big deal. All right. So I'm going to cover a couple of things that aren't work related and you give zero craps about. Number one is bluegrass time. All right. So Travis, just go to sleep. All right.
I'm going to try to just hold on.
No,
I did think about you hard this weekend. This was the weekend you should have come up, and you should put it on your calendar. It was Mule Day in Columbia.
Yes.
Oh my!
I'm coming up to that.
That parade blew out the Christmas parade by far. I mean, holy Moses! They've been cleaning up poop for a month out there.
Well, it's that time of year. Those of you who are right with God, you listen to bluegrass music, and that's just the way it is. And so this time of year, all the festivals are.
I'm going to hell for a lot more things than not listening to bluegrass. I'm just letting you know.
We went to Ashford, and I think the most well-known band they had there was a Tennessee Bluegrass Band. They played really good show, really good atmosphere, you know, and all that. And then we just had the one in Henderson, which is at Old Rex's Picking Park. And the only thing I'll say about that is these people are so good. Like, these aren't Paw and Meemaw sitting up there on a stage and they're learning their instrument. I mean, this is like a Alison Krauss show, Ricky Skaggs type show, but these aren't those people. These people have jobs, but it's crazy. If you enjoy music and you have a chance to go to one, you don't have to stay the whole time. And it's typically the most we've ever paid to get into one is $10 for parking. Yeah, I mean, it's super cheap. They always have food there. You know, you don't have to worry about people shooting each other up there, or, you know, walking around smoking pot, doing whatever, you know, around your kids. It's, you know, so I'd encourage people to go. Travis is never going to go, and that's fine.
Well, you know,
That's
I
fine.
do enjoy. Now it just started back up again. We have what we call First Fridays downtown, and they shut the square down, and vendors come out, and there is usually a group of, now they're not professionals, but is, you know, group of locals that meet on the square and they play, you know, during the time. And I enjoy standing there listening to them for a little while. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I just don't get it as far as like, I don't recognize if they play like a hit, you know, bluegrass or it ain't, you know.
Yeah.
I never get the song, you know.
Well, yeah, we listen to, Trey and I both, we listen to bluegrass all day long. That's really all we listen to. We rarely get out of that. So
yeah, I would smash that radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, like I said, if you want to, you know, if you want to live your life not being right, then go ahead.
Travis smash.
But anyway, it's an exciting time of the year for us weirdos who like bluegrass. But either way, go support local live music, whatever genre's playing. I mean, you know, it takes a lot of dedication if they're playing heavy metal or whatever, their country, whatever they're playing. It takes a lot of their time. Just go support them. Go and watch them for a little bit, whatever, you know. Let's see. Let's see. We do have a cruise coming up. That is the end of May. This will be my first cruise. I don't really know what to expect on a cruise.
I can't wait to hear this story. My God. I will buy you a GoPro if you will video while you're on this cruise.
There's people placing bets on what I'm going to do and what's going to happen and all that. You know,
so where are y'all going? Don't say that. Don't say that. So is this a passport cruise? Did you have to get a passport for this cruise?
No, but I did get my Social Security card.
You didn't have a Social Security card before now?
No.
I'm sending nice to visit you. Ask you questions.
I got one now, so you're good.
Well, I'm still going to have them come ask you some questions.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. They can come in here and they can get a drink out of my cooler and we can sit down and, you know, talk a little while and, well, how you boys doing? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. That was a severe concern when we went to Minnesota, by the way.
Man.
Well, because I called to try to get us another hotel room and they kept telling me it was sold out. And I was like, oh my God, like there's that many. So we shared a room. But the funny thing is when we got there and found out that the hotel was no longer a hotel or, you know, a Hampton Inn. I think it was supposed to be a Hampton Inn. And it was now the Motel of Lakeville or whatever it is now. There were like 6 people staying there.
Do you know what I wish?
Nobody.
I wish that there was a demonstration across the street from your hotel. That's what I wish would happen.
Well, what was really funny is Kim looked on Life 360 and she said, where are you right now? Because it showed me in an assisted living facility.
I'm over here seeing my girlfriend.
Yeah, I was like, no, we're in the other side of the parking lot. Life 360 is off. That's what's going on. But I was like, I don't know why it thinks we're there. And we did pull tab races. Have I ever told you about the pull tab races? Do you know what pull tab? I've never heard of these before. This is a Northwestern thing.
Yeah.
All right, write that down.
Sounds like it.
Write that down. If we get time, I'm going to talk to you about pull tabs because I won big money.
Really?
I did. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Well, I do like racing. But yeah, we're going for...
Not this racing.
We're going for Tommy's... For Riley's graduation, so Riley has graduated, by the way. So in homeschool, here's a little side note. When you graduate, Sheila walked into the living room and we...
Dude, that was wrong.
And we handed her a diploma and we said, hey, congratulations, you're done. All right, we need to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. We got an install to do.
Did you take her to dinner?
Not just for the graduation.
Okay.
We kind of put it all in all into one. But and it didn't happen exactly like that. She had to finish a few classes so she could graduate. You know, she got a little bit behind. You know, imagine that, working just about full time in the cabinet shop. You get, you know, a few weeks behind. So that was kind of the basis of the joke.
Yeah.
Was we're just like, you know, we had all this stuff scheduled for you, and, you know, whatever, here's your diploma, you know, go to bed. And it was just so funny, you know, because there was no walkout, and there was no dance, and there was no, you know, whatever.
Did she get at least the bomb of the song?
No,
not even.
She got nothing.
First note.
Nope.
Now, does she have her firefighter certification now?
So she's getting BLS certified either this weekend or next weekend, but she is halfway through her EMT school. She's doing rotations now. She's done 2 days worth of rotations in Montgomery, Alabama.
Ooh, she has seen some things.
Yes, on an ambulance. Right now, she wants to go all the way up to paramedic. We'll see. She's doing really good with EMT. She's actually, like, oddly enough, really good at it. Like, she's understanding the terminology. That's, you know, dosing medicine and trying to look for signs of this and yada, yada. But the terminology, you know, can really throw you off. And so I told her, I said, do as many rotations as you can. If you're required to do, I think it's 40 hours of rotations, do 120. Rotate. Do rotations until you take your national registry.
And every shift will see different things. That's for sure.
Yes.
Day versus night versus middays. Like, I mean, that's how it was in law enforcement. I mean, night shift and day shift work.
They actually will not let her work. Think about this. She cannot rotate on an ambulance in Montgomery, Alabama at night, legally.
It's probably smart.
They said, nope, you're not getting on that ambulance and dealing with these nighttime people. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, she's doing that.
Thomas has his certification, right?
No, Thomas hadn't started any of that because he's only 17. So he's been in the fire department longer, technically, but
he can't do anything until, I didn't realize that.
That's right. Yep. He can, you know, brush fires. He can go assist on medicals and whatever, but he can't drive a truck yet.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need a 17-year-old driving an 80,000-pound fire truck.
You know, we just had a Nashville fire truck crash. Did you see that? It made pretty big news a week ago or so. The firefighter driving had a medical incident while driving to a call and crashed.
Man,
it was bad. Like, I don't think many injuries, but it was pretty brutal. Like, I mean, like hit a building, like with a fire truck.
Well, I mean, you know,
with the wee woos
going out the back and go, get the stuff out the back and go to work and all.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, at least you had all the equipment you needed to take care of everybody while you were there. Yeah.
So the cruise is part of her graduation.
Okay.
All right. And it's her boyfriend's graduation cruise. And his little tail is who started all this crap.
Man, I need to be in that family. The boyfriend gets a cruise?
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. Now, we're not paying for his, but we're just like, all right, let's all go. And then I said, well, Thomas, who is it? Somebody come in there?
I locked the door so nobody would come in. And of course, Kim comes and puts her face on the window. Like, I'm like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
You need to go let her in?
No.
I don't think that's smart. I think you do. Who's going to produce this thing?
I don't know. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. 5 seconds.
I'm going to keep talking about the cruise
and
let everybody know. So the cruise is for my daughter. And then Thomas, we said, you might as well go ahead and go on a senior cruise too. So he's going on the senior cruise. My daughter's boyfriend is going on the cruise. Tommy's girlfriend is going on the cruise. So it's all 4 of them. Joseph is going because we can't leave him at home. We probably could, but don't need to. And then Tammy and I are going. And then the boyfriend's parents are going and some of their friends going to the Bahamas. And I don't necessarily want to go. I don't know what to expect from a cruise. I don't know, like, they keep talking about these packages. I don't drink, so that's good. You know, I'm not going to be drinking on the cruise, but here he comes. He's coming back now.
Women, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. Jeez.
What happened?
I thought y'all might be done. It's like, when have we ever finished recording in 2 hours and we weren't able to start at 4? So I was like, no, we kind of just started.
Yeah, no, was she good?
She's like, I just want to come
in there. Did you let her in?
No, she's like, well, I gotta go check on Moose anyway. I was like, why did she stop by? I don't understand. I'm so confused.
So yeah, we're doing that. If you guys got any helpful hints, let me know.
Take Dramamine.
On one. Dramamine.
Take Dramamine.
We do have a balcony room. Tammy and I do. The kids they're all in the interior room.
You put them down there in like the Titanic level. Like, good luck. Level 3. My
Dude,
first
I don't
cruise,
even know.
my first cruise, we were on like the very bottom level, and
I would think water level would be the best because that's got the least amount of rock. I would
It
think.
would
If you
seem
way
like
up
it.
high, you're gonna rock more. Or,
it was some of the best sleep I'd ever had in my life, though, because it was in a cave.
yeah.
I mean, dark. I mean, there's no light. You know.
Trey he got selected for a grand jury. He was out for a week.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, probably don't want him on your grand jury. I mean, he's he don't like crime.
Yeah. And open his statements. Guilty. Let's go.
Yeah,
out
he
of
don't
here.
like crimists. And everybody there besides him, and he had some weirdos, dude. I have to tell you about that off the podcast, but I mean some shims and she hims and him hers and some stuff like that. It was so funny. But they were trying to figure out if the
that's your
party
wife. That
no,
would
it's
be
Tommy.
so great.
They were trying to figure out if the party was guilty or not of the crime.
Okay.
And Trey one time had to like stand up and announce, that's not why we're here. We're here to decide if they go to trial.
Oh, because he was a grand jury. He was on a grand jury.
So he's like, nobody cares about that. Just do. And he would get so frustrated about that.
Is there enough here to think that it's possible that they committed this crime? That's all you're trying to do.
And then the next case, they did like 250 cases.
Yeah, grand juries are a
And
lot.
then the next case, they're like, well, we think you did it. And Trey's like, man.
People have no idea how the judicial system works. It's
but they better
crazy.
learn. They need to learn.
Yeah. Oh, well,
They
we
need to
used to
learn.
teach it, but
Yeah.
But I would sit down when we had grand jury. I usually would have a full day by myself. I just sat up there. I had a milk crate with my case files in it, and it was usually an entire day of testifying for just my stuff alone.
Yep.
You know,
and it's crazy. Did you know? Fun fact: person A kills person B. All right, they got plenty of evidence. Whatever, like it's not a secret that person A killed person B. Person A has since passed away. Died, dead, in the ground, in a coffin, in the ground, done, dead. They still have to have a hearing to decide whether the person who is dead has to go to trial and answer for what he did while he was alive.
Right. Completely.
Because the case can't be closed until the grand jury says this is a no bill. It cannot go to trial.
Well, because you have to eliminate the possibility of it being somebody else.
Yeah.
It's really, it seems weird, but you're really just trying to eliminate that. You want the trial so that the family, I guess it's not a complete waste of time because the family needs that closure to say, yes, it was, there's enough evidence that we know that it was him. We know that the killer of our son is not still roaming around, that it is the person in the ground, and we can live in peace with that. And this is not a complete waste of time, but it does seem weird.
It's weird, man. It just seems like there's a lot of dollars that are being spent every day on some, Anyway, let's see. We can talk a little bit about our trip. I went up to Travis's to purchase for a large amount of money an edge bander that he was selling. Because I
went on a cruise after this purchase.
Yeah. I pretty much padded Travis for a few months there. Not bragging.
Yeah.
It's just what happened.
Yep. Took me a canoe to the creek.
Yeah. So get
sank.
you a friend who doesn't understand, electronics and doesn't care to like really get involved and get his fingers dirty.
And has no time to research.
I'm about to say, put him in a situation where he's like, I can't deal with this right now. I need this thing gone. And I was in a situation where I desperately need an edge bander. By the way, we had to super glue one of the pulleys back on mine until we wait on the heat gun to come in. But anyway, Trey said, hey, I've got this edge bander. It is not currently
Travis
working.
said this. Trey.
Who did I say? Trey.
Was not a participant yet.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes.
I know.
Travis said, I've got this edge bander. And I said, yep, on the way. I immediately went to Trey and said, we're going to Tennessee. We're going to crash at Travis's house and we're going to get an edge bander. We're going to come back, leave Friday, come back Saturday, bing, bang, bang, eat McDonald's, whatever. And then Tammy got involved and she was like, well, I'd like to go.
It was
and I said, great, honey.
Also your anniversary weekend though, in fairness.
Was it? That was close. It was close. Yeah.
Your anniversary was that week, the week of.
Yeah.
The follow.
We could have done it the next weekend or something. Anyway, so now I'm just giving Tammy a hard time.
But let me back up a little bit. So the edge bander was working fine, made a loud, terrible squeal, and produced no heat whatsoever after that. And we were just kind of tits up at that point. You know, I was like, I don't know what to do. And it looked like the replacement parts could be anywhere from, what was the range? $105 to possibly $3,000.
Yep.
And I was like, I paid $3,000 for it. I've gotten $3,000 worth of edge banding out of it. So I was like, so I told Derek, I was like, what do you want to do? Do you want to put more money into this, or do you want to buy a new one? And he basically was like, I'm down for buying a new one at this point. Like, just, if we're going to have the CNC, let's go ahead and upgrade the edge bander. Let's just, and know we're good. And I was like, I know what I'm doing with the edge bander then. Because, and I was hoping that you would be able to, you know, after we talked, cannibalize yours.
I can tell you exactly what's wrong with that edge bander. Just know that I can tell you exactly what's wrong with it.
And it cost $7,000 to fix it. That's the deal. That's the deal.
Now, it is going to be, it is a, I mean, it's not a cheap fix, but it's not the $3,000 fix. So that's good.
That's good.
And yeah, so the armature bearings seized up is what it is.
That would be that loud squeal I heard.
Yep. So the armature will not rotate within the.
Is that in the heat?
No, that's the motor. That's the fan. But it gets hot. It just ain't blowing it up there to where the edge tape is.
Gotcha.
It is getting hot. Trust me. Because we plugged that sucker in, and I said, let me find out what's going on. And immediately I smelled it burning.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's unplug it. And it took like hours to cool off where we could handle it.
Yeah. Well, I knew you needed an edge bander. I knew I needed an edge bander gone. And I wasn't comfortable selling it to anybody without any clue as to what was wrong with it. Like, I just,
that's right.
I didn't know. And so I'm not going to sell something like that to somebody, you know? And that's why I was like, if this will help you bridge your gap, I mean, cause it's a good machine.
Well, I think it's perfect for our shop. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean,
I think it's a good machine, and I think it'll be great for what you use it for. So I was like, man, if you can put, you know, even if you put, you know, $1,000 into it and it bought you, you know, a year or a little bit longer till you got to where you wanted to upgrade yours, I thought it was a win-win for everybody.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I agree.
I mean, and we got to hang out for a little bit.
We did. And I learned that when you're used to ice on the roads, which Travis apparently is, and you say, hey, what's the ice situation? He's like, it's fine. Dude, when we got off the interstate in Columbia, or I think it might have been just south of Columbia, and we saw the ice piled up around the stop signs and things, I was thinking, all right, buddy. Okay, buddy.
The main roads were good.
They were. We did not slip on the main roads. Yeah,
but
we did not.
When we went antiquing, we did hit a couple of turns, and I was like, whoa. Like, if we'd had CB rate, I mean, I'd have been on there, buddy. Hold up. I mean, because.
And Tammy was
some of those shady spots.
Yeah. And it was cold, dude. It was 12 degrees.
It was cold.
And we were staying in somebody's backyard in a cottage. Kind of wish they would be a little bit more clear about that. Like,
and just for the record, because I don't want any text, comments, or emails, not by punishment or by force. That was a choice that was made.
That is right now.
To not
Travis
stay.
did leave his invitation open.
Yes.
When it's Tammy and I, you know, we don't really want to intrude on people and like, great, now you got two people over here, you know, what are we going to do and this and that? Now, what about supper and breakfast and yada, 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 you know? So we just like, listen, it's our anniversary weekend, which probably did y'all a favor. And we were just like, let's just get our own place. And you know, I found the cottage was cheap, dude. It was, I don't know, a couple $100 for 2 nights or something. It was a 2-room cottage, literally. It had the living room and bedroom and kitchen was in one room. And then you had the bathroom. And it had a mini split in it. And that little mini split was chugging when it was 12 degrees, trying to keep it warm in there.
It was so cold. I learned yesterday that our area of Tennessee actually got a federal extension on our taxes because of the ice storm.
Yeah. That's fine. Come on. That's fine.
But it was like 2 days before that. I mean,
yeah.
But we still didn't get above freezing. I don't think we got above freezing. By the time you came, I still don't think we were above freezing.
No, you are not, buddy. You are not.
Shut up, Birchman. We know it's cold up there.
Yeah. And when you drive a deleted diesel truck with 0 emissions on it, 0 muffler, 0 resonator, 0 anything, I've literally got a 5-inch pipe hooked to the backside of my turbo, and it goes out the back of the truck. So with a diesel engine, it will spool up the turbo when it's cold outside. And what that does is create a little bit of back pressure, keeps that heat in the motor a little bit, and it helps the engine warm up faster. Problem is, when you have an emissions compliant diesel, you can't really tell. When you have my truck, it's like a F6 taking off, and we literally parked in this lady's back. We're parked beside this woman. And so we're in a neighborhood, and I'm like, and so I would turn it on for a little bit, and then Tammy would like look out the window because she's still in the cottage, and she'd look, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to turn that thing off. I turned it back off, and she actually messaged the lady and said, sorry, that's just his truck. It's doing warm up things. I don't know, really what it's doing, and she's like, oh, it's fine. It's not bothering anybody. And I'm like, yeah, it's bothering somebody 4 houses down,
Yeah, have you ever heard a locomotive in the rail yard getting ready to pull, I don't know, 400-500 cars of trains? Kind of what this truck sounds like, getting ready to just go 3 miles an hour.
Right. Yeah, it is.
I mean, it sounds good. It's what a Cummins should sound like.
It does. And then going out, keep in mind that truck's 10,000 pounds empty. And so backing out, turning around is a crew cab 8-foot bed, right? So turning it around in a spot designed for a Mini Cooper on ice was fun. And then the funnest part was when I would slide down the driveway in the morning, and then it had a little piece of asphalt right before you hit the road that was dry.
That's your friction pad.
Yep. And it would lock me up just before I slid out in traffic, and Tammy not a fan.
No.
I can tell you, she was not a fan of that. But man, we have a great time. You sold a couple of those 2 saws while we were there. I got to see your shop for the first time.
Guy walked in the door, and I said, you want to look at him? And he said, what did he say? We prayed about it, and we're ready to get them. I said,
that's it.
I said, okay, well, do you want to hear them? And he said, I guess. I mean, but he was doing some kind of conversion on them anyway. Did you understand what he was doing?
I'm trying to remember. He was going to set them up for
on
something.
A steamroller or something. Take the motors out and put them on pulleys or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Steamroller. I don't know.
I didn't get what he was saying, but he basically didn't care if the motors worked or not. He was going to put them on some kind of pulley system in his shop.
Yeah. Yeah, super cool dude. He was also another Dodge guy. That's why he was so cool.
Which I'd kind of like to see. What did he do,
Yeah.
But
he came in and brought his kids with him. I love seeing that, dude. Get your kids out, man. Let them, let them meet weirdos that are, out there in the freaking ice and snow in the middle of.
Maybe control them a little bit more in somebody else's shop, but they were okay.
Yeah.
They weren't bad. They weren't bad.
They can run around a little bit. It's dangerous in there. But yeah, and then we went to Mama Mila's.
We did.
And that was an experience.
World famous Mama Mila's.
World famous Italian.
Is that the
Italian
earliest
place.
Dinner you've ever eaten in your life? Or
It is. It's almost like not even the latest lunch I've eaten in my life.
I was like, hey, I got this place. Well, I called it. I said, do you want to like steakhouse or something for your anniversary? Like, I didn't know what you guys wanted to do. And you were like, yeah, I mean, that'd be good. And then you threw out that Tammy loved Italian during the conversation. I was like, conversation over. I got you. Like,
yep. But we have to be there at 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it was a Saturday. Saturday is like, we went the other week. We went just a week or so ago, and it was like a Thursday night piece of cake, no big deal. But Saturday, you better be there.
Y'all need to check her out, because I'm not going to explain the whole thing, but if you go watch some of her videos, you'll kind of get the vibe of that place. But I mean, I'm telling you, easy best Italian I've had.
Yeah, it's legit. Like she's
legit
Italian. Like she is her, these are Italian recipes passed down.
And then we went to some antique stores, and Kim got a little crazy. Kim got a little crazy in antique stores.
See, that's when I feel bad for Tammy, because there are so many like historical comments that are made, like, and I don't know if she knows all of them, because she went to school somewhere else, so she
right.
I mean, close but not. And I'm like, I don't ever want her to feel left out,
Yeah.
When the local jokes start getting passed around, right. I guess I don't know what to call it, but the reminiscing.
She would have been like, okay, great. I don't even know what they're talking
right.
about. She was sitting in the warm truck, and she was like, nope, I'm not going out there. I mean, snow piled up on the side of the road. Like we had to step on it to get onto the sidewalk. And we went antiquing, man, what a blast. We went to that really good. I'm going to take Thomas to that last one we went to, the red
with the post
building
office
or whatever. Yeah, with the post office.
We went in
He
this
really
post
liked that.
office, and I'm telling you, people, when I tell you that the three of us filled the post office up,
Yeah.
I don't know how they ever process a single letter in this place. I mean, it's just a little village post office, but it's the original one, and they've got some antiques in it as well.
Yeah, stuff all outside. It was, Columbia's known for their antiques, apparently. I found that out after we got back. Because, Facebook's like, he's in Columbia.
Right.
And he's been to 2 antique places. So and immediately my Facebook was flooded with people going to Columbia, going to antiquing.
I found a couple more for the list for when you come back.
Good. But yeah, we had an absolute blast. Ate good. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner up there. Had a great time. Was able to hang out.
Got to go have a guy's breakfast before you left. That was fun.
Yep,
Kim
was fun.
allowed us to be on our own, which is usually dangerous. But I mean, we did get the stripper from, Big Booby Bungalow, 4 exits down. Luckily, it was Sunday morning, so she was off. But
I'm about to say, she just got off a few hours before then and went to the cafe and started.
Yeah.
Y'all want a waffle? What do you want, hon?
She was happy to see somebody under 80 come eat breakfast with her.
But yeah, so we did that. Had a good I had to buy 2 new tires. So get back to where we started. Trey and I leave Friday, go up, get the edge bander. What's up, Travis? Maybe get something to eat, come back home. Right. Tammy says, "Oh, I'm not going in this truck. You got to go buy 2 new tires. Your tires are low on tread."
Which somehow I got blamed for him having to buy 2 new tires. I don't understand how that phone call was made, but I accepted responsibility. He's like, "You owe me $1,000," and I was like, "What?"
Yep. Now we're getting to Airbnb, so that's cost on it. We're getting tires. There's a few other things I remember we had to do before we left, and I was just like, "Man, golly, now I'm gonna be up there 2 days, or And we got in late Friday. I don't remember what time Friday we showed up.
Seems like it was like 10-ish.
Yeah, but it was late.
Maybe a little bit later.
And then you had the excitement. You can't walk into a cottage at 10 o'clock at night and lay down and go to sleep.
You don't know me as well as you think you do then.
Well, we can't.
I'd be like, hell, I am tired of being on the road.
But yeah, so we did that. I'm waiting on a few things to kind of clear up here. We have to get settled. Hey, everybody, let's settle. And then we'll do the swap out the heat gun on the edge bander, get it moved. I've got to get the big sander here at some point.
Moving equipment in the shop is like, it's a thing. Like, it's not just something you just do,
Right. Yeah. And you guys were down when you got to CNC. I mean, you can't build anything. Your shop's gone.
Well, we were still,
you have everything cleared
we'd
out.
gotten rid of stuff and like, oh man, we had like 2 jobs I had to do without the dado saws and was so angry at myself for letting them go so quick. I mean, but when you get a buyer, you got, when you get a buyer and you're trying to prep for these machines come in, you're like, oh, well, I need it to go. Let's just make sure, that we've got the space and the money at the time, you don't want to try to hold out. But yeah, I was like, man, I really miss these saws. Haven't missed the shapers. I haven't said, man, I wish we had these shapers. Not once.
Really?
No. Hoping CNC will solve shaker doors for us. Not have to worry about that.
I think you got a good market for that up there. And I think you're going to, dude, you could turn out. I mean, I'm just saying, man, you're not waiting on doors, especially if you got the drawer thing going. Y'all could figure that out. You're talking pumping.
Well, and want to talk about small world. I'm going to keep diverting apparently and never let you finish your story. But small world, old owner of the range called, who also bought a cabinet shop at some point in time after getting out of owning the range, the gun range.
Really?
Yeah. And we're in conversations about possibly doing their cutting for them because they're drowning, and basically just do a flat pack and they'll come by and pick up their stuff and assemble it, paint it, whatever, but doing their cutting for them.
Yeah. And that's that, like I said, dude, that CNC's running.
Yeah.
If that CNC's running, you're making money. Either that or you're redoing something you screwed up, but that'd be my thing.
Sometimes I do that.
I'm like, how'd I get a birdhouse out of this thing, Now, one thing I am going to say, kind of when we're on work-related stuff, and we're getting through the list, so that's good, helping other shops. So my buddy Cole, we have been in talks for a couple of years, and he's like, dude, we need to come help you on the job site. You need to come help us on the job site. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And we're kind of talking about, so the basis idea is no money changing hands, right? But you get a load of doors and a load of drawer fronts and a load of drawers and hardware. And now you have 2 crews there, both kind of know what to do. And we go in there and we can do the work in way less time and we're done.
Right.
And so if we get everything done in one day, that keeps me from buying breakfast the second day, supper the second day, fuel the second day, trip up there, trip back, not to mention the hours that we're actually going to be working on the second day.
Right.
And so then you miss something and you may have to come back or whatever. Now you're on a third day or whatever. So we just kind of started doing this a little bit, and he showed up at one of the bigger installs that we've got, and we were just installing boxes this day. And he's like, dude, tell me where you want me to start. And I was like, I don't care. Start back here, cause I wanted to do the kitchen. Kitchens are always more complicated than vanities or whatever, to set. So anyway, I did the kitchen and he started back there in the master. And we set, it was 35 cabinets. Again, no doors, no drawers, none of that, set in boxes. Set 35 boxes in under 5 hours, all in. So yeah, that's from when the last cabinet came off the trailer to we were in the truck leaving. So that saved us. So we were back well before dark.
How's it working, like tool wise? Like, is he bringing tools, or you say it's your install? It's your job.
Yeah, so this time he brought his impact and drill, and of course his tape measure and stuff, but that's it. That's all he brought. Yeah. Well, that's, I was like, I've got everything.
I would like to do a survey in the cabinet world about impact guns, because I don't like them. I know you do, but I don't.
Well, we use them for
I just prefer people to use a drill. It feels like it's just less overdriving.
If that person knows what they're doing,
I guess, maybe.
Yes. But if you give Riley a drill and you put that sucker on one, she's going through the back of the cabinet.
Yeah.
Like the screws coming out the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
So for her, it's a control thing. She can really get the tension on that screw head right where she wants it with an impact. And she, you way up on the ladder and the thing grabs and it twists or something, and we don't need anything like that. So I don't have a problem with them. But we got done with it quickly. And you imagine now you got one person putting on drawer fronts, you got one person hanging scribe, you got one person hanging doors, putting plates on, one person hanging shelves, right? And one person drilling hardware. You're done. What took you 2 or 3 days is now you can get done in less than 8 hours and y'all are going home. And so we think that the trade-off of saving, I don't know, keep the math easy, right? You do 20 jobs a year. You save 2 days per job, which we're going to save more than that, but you save 2 days. That's 40 days of labor you're saving.
That's easily gives you 2 extra jobs a year.
That is easily 2 extra jobs, right? So that's why we're not worried about paying him, and he's not worried about paying us.
On air.
Yeah. Now, he's going to get an advantage, Robo, if you're listening, because I've got myself, Trey, Riley, and Joseph. So I'm bringing 4 people. He's got 2. But his 2 people, they can do anything. There's no walking them through anything. You know what I mean? Like, they know how to do everything. So, but I mean, dude.
Has it been a challenge with like you guys doing things differently? I don't know, like scribes or
not yet.
I shim this way, you shim this way. I don't know. Like I can't really think of what could be different, but I know there are differences.
Yeah. So I think they do their toe kicks a little bit different.
Because he's a CNC shop.
He's a CNC shop, yes.
Now, what that really means on an install, I can't think of a real difference that would make on an install, but I'm just saying.
Well, so the biggest difference is, our toe kicks, we don't do any toe kick. We don't skin the toe kicks. In other words, we don't apply the toe kicks after the cabinets are set. I think they do, if I remember that correctly. Something about the toe kicks was different. Mine, I just make them where when you put the cabinets together, they're touching, The biggest thing I think that they like is the 1/2-inch boxes and 1/4-inch backs.
I'm sure.
Obo comes in there and he's like, hey, Mitch, can you help me just tote this it was a 32-inch single opening vanity. Can you help me carry this to the back? I was like, help you, dude? What are you talking about? That thing's 30 pounds. And he picks it up and he was like, oh, man, are you serious? And he just picks it up and takes off with it,
Yeah.
And I was talking to Cole later on that night and he goes, dude, you're going to hate me, man. I said, no, I'm not. Because I'm not loading your cabinets and I'm not unloading your cabinets, because he got there after we unloaded those cabinets. So I said, no. I said, you think I'm finna tote them 500-pound cabinets? Nope, I ain't doing it.
Show up with dollies.
Right. And Robert's like, dude, these things are so light. We could just pick them up and slide a wedge under them, And so, I mean, they're not going to go and do that because that doesn't fit their shop, right? CNC shop, build it out of 3/4, you buy them one material, whatever. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest differences. But, they know how to, I told them, I said, this is how the cabinets go together. This is what you should expect. This is what we're shooting for. Set them.
Yeah.
And it's so nice not to have to go back and try to figure out if they're actually level. You're worried about them hitting plumbing and stuff. They already know what to do. So I think it's a really good opportunity, dude, that we can knock some serious time off of these installs.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to make sure you got your crap wired tight when you show up, and don't
what we learned
yourself,
Yeah. Yeah. What we learned is we need more levels. Cause I was like, Joseph, go get that level from Cole.
Yeah.
And Cole's like, hey man, JoJo, bring me that level. He's over there hollering. So we need more. I didn't think that's on me. I didn't think about having, being split up.
Not a cheat, but that's not a hard fix to get, another set of levels.
Right. Well, he can just bring his levels.
That's true. I got a really fine set of Milwaukee ones. They'll put some red shit on the wall, but I got a really fine set of Milwaukees that
you ain't getting me off that Stabila, dude.
And if somebody comes in, you can club the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Good self-defense tool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited, man, because you're talking a big difference every year.
Yeah.
Now they don't eat breakfast before they go to a job site. Of course, both of them are skinny as a rail.
Yeah. Most people eat breakfast before they show up for work.
Yeah. I was like, we're stopping and eating on the way. That's how we do it, but I think it's going to work. And there's going to be not any growing pains really, but there's just going to be little tweaks that we do.
Yeah.
And we can feed off of each other, right? He's like, well, this is how I do this.
I would say probably the most important thing is to not keep score. You guys, you got to tell each other not to keep score.
Yep.
Because you can't help how big the next job is.
That's right.
So, if he comes and helps you with a $35 job and you show up and his job is a $10 job, he can't keep score with that because it'll eventually even out. Let it run a cycle, and let it even out over time. And I think as long as you guys can remember that will probably be I just kind of see that as being like the number one, well, we show up and, you got these big jobs and, and we're here for a full day and, and you show up to help us and we're out in 3 hours.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah. And that's how we're looking at it is, if we come and help you, we're going to save you a day's labor at your shop. And so if we go and help him, I'm going to be like, you got 8 hours. That's how long I'm available. If we get it done, the goal is to get it done in 3.
Right.
Come back. Be done, because everybody's done.
Just don't say in the beginning of the day we'll be done in 3 hours.
Right? Yeah, never.
And that is a
man. These walls, I think this gonna go real good
shoot
today.
Yourself right in the foot.
Yep. I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out.
That's a cool opportunity. See. It's kind of, I don't know, seems kind of abnormal, but that doesn't mean it's not a good possibility, Yeah. I think it's good for 2 smaller shops. Because he's not small and you're not small, neither one of y'all are small as far as, your annual volume, but I think that really lets you think about it, if each one of you are able to pick up another job, then each company is, pulling another $30,000 a year off of this little move,
Yep.
Pretty good,
And the rule is, and there's not really any rules, but the rule is if you can go, you can go. But if you can't, it's fine. It's not a requirement that we go to each other's every install for each other. Hey, I got one coming up on Thursday. Are you available? Yeah, we can pull away and do that on Thursday. We're looking good on the timeline, whatever. And so we give each other as much heads up as possible. Now, right now, everything's scattered, right? Where I sent Trey up to a job just to hang the drawer guides and slide the drawers in the hole and put the shelf pins in. Tomorrow, he's going to just put drawer fronts on. So it doesn't make any sense to bring in another crew, right? I'm sending stuff out the door as fast as I can send it out the door. But we'll see how it goes. We're not guaranteeing it's going to, work or be perfect or whatever, but I think it's worth looking at because we're the same size shop pretty much as far as volume and kind of what we have going on, So, dude, if that saves us, think about what you can do in a day, the amount of fuel you'll save, and because each job's like an hour away.
Well, and you never know what you're going to pick up from each other, too.
Right.
There's always an opportunity to learn something.
And it goes with the whole theme of, you're not, this stuff is not a secret. Building a box is not a secret. My 2 builders, that's my bread and butter. As long as I don't lose them,
yeah,
I don't care if Cole comes to one of my jobs or something, you know, and he meets somebody in one of these towns, whatever, you know. We'll see. Y'all stay tuned for that. We'll see how it goes.
What else she got on there?
I've got learn to start right. That's something that we're focusing on. So
elaborate.
I think you can really mess yourself up day one of the job. So we're going to have, I'm going to do like a prep day, right? So I've quoted you, I've done your drawings, you've approved them. And let's say, you know, I'm ready to get half down. You're about to give me a check. I'm going to take at least half a day and I'm going to go through that and I'm going to find out everything I have to order. How many drawer guides, how many whatever, screws, do we have screws, what color paint, what about the hardware? And I'm just going to take that day and get everything locked in and locked down, ordered and here. So we're not at the end of the job going, shoot, I never ordered the trash pullout, or man, I got to hurry up and order this hardware. Man, these things are going in 4 days, you know? So I think I'm going to start just having a prep day, A through Z for this job. This is everything we're going to need. Get it ordered, get it done, let it come in and do the job. That's something I need to do a better job of, because realistically, dude, we get stuff from a lot of different places.
Yeah. That's very similar to what I'm trying to get us to roll into. Is basically what I'm trying to do is while they're installing, and we've now hired another new guy, which is wow. But while they're doing the install day, I am here going through the drawings and kind of doing that one more time, double checking before I send everything to the machine, you know, and before you hit the cut list, you know, I'm checking all the scribes, all the interior scribes, all the exterior scribes, you know, just making sure everything lines up to the T, you know, and I'm trying to do that while the shop is quiet. I want to do it while nobody's here. So that's kind of my goal it's interesting that without really talking about it, that we're trying to kind of do something very similar, you know?
Yeah, because you can get excited about doing a job and you order the plywood and the lumber. It comes in, you start cutting. Next thing you know, you got them assembled and you're like, shoot, I never got a paint color, you know?
Oh, I ordered a tilt out hinge today for a job that we're going to tomorrow to wrap up. And I was like, you know, we're going to go pick
exactly.
Right up. Luckily it's in it's in Nashville, and the Richelieu shop is in Nashville. So we're going to swing by, you know, grab it. But I was like, I should have ordered this, you know, we installed this at the end of January, you know?
Yeah.
We've been waiting on paint for 6 months.
And that's my biggest thing, I think, that holds us up. And we're talking that could cost you a day, that could cost you another trip, that could cost, you know, all this stuff. And it freaking adds up at the end of the year, dude.
Well, and with this situation you're doing with Cole, it could create some frustration too, where everything is not there for them to help you to get the job done.
Definitely.
And that could cause that whole thing to deteriorate, you know?
Yeah, because if the whole point is him saving me a trip and I'm like, shoot, I forgot the trash pullout, dude. I got to come back tomorrow anyway. He's like, you know, we stopped all day to help you and you can't get your crap together, you know? So, and that's me. That's 100% me. That's nobody else's responsibility here. But just inventory things, right? Sometimes Trey will go, hey, we're out of such and such screw. And I'm like, golly, you know, and freaking make a trip for me an hour away to Worth to go pick up some stupid screw or something, you know? So I'm trying to do better with
box
that.
Of screws.
Right. I'm trying to do better, you know, at doing things like that. So that's kind of some things we're working on now to get done.
Yeah. I think it's important. I think that, you know, that sets the tone for this job, you know, for the
100%.
I think it really does. Cause I think as soon as day one hits and you realize that you weren't ready, I think that changes your mindset. Cause I know it does mine. It changes my mindset. And then I let that reflect, like, cause there's not usually a whole lot of question about what I'm thinking in a day. It's usually kind of right here on my face or coming right out of my mouth. So, you know, he just kind of sets a shop tone, you know, people like, oh, you know, what's wrong with him? You know, well, I'm an idiot, you know, I forgot to, you know.
Yeah. And you do want to, I don't know how to say this, but you do want to like look like you know what the heck you're doing, you know, like how am I going to come down there and try to, and say, you know, Steve, man, you got to do better at this. I mean, golly, be prepared to think about what you're doing, be prepared for what you're doing. And then later on that afternoon, they're like, hey, where's this thing that we need for this job? I hadn't ordered it, you know? And I'm always real careful about that. I give Trey and Riley a hard time whenever they mess something up or whatever, but it's never been like really angry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know that they're thinking the same thing about me. They're like, what is Mitch doing? Why did he, golly, what was he? So you just kind of have to let some of that stuff go, man.
But I think it does.
You
You got to be careful, because I think the reverse of that though is if you're like, hey guys, I'm in prep mode, leave me alone, I'm gonna make sure, and then you're still missing things, that's going to set the tone of, oh, he wants a day to goof off. He wants a half day to goof off by himself in there,
Right?
Like, or what's he doing in there while we're out here having to work? Like
Bingo.
There also could be a negative, to you not getting the details done. So kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, at the end of the day, it's all about wrapping jobs up quicker. That's you and I both, every cabinet shop in the world runs on a little thing called JPY. That's jobs per year. So that's what every decision we freaking make in a cabinet shop comes down to. Can I do one more job before December 31st? And 5 minutes on every process is what you have to do to gain another job a year. That's how we make money, is completing jobs. The more we complete, the more money we make.
Well, it's like we had a conversation about, construction technique. Do we want to have the CNC pre-drill holes on the sides of the cabinets to screw them together? Or do we want to take the time to take the part off the CNC and go pocket hole it? Which, would you rather spend a little bit more and a little bit more, because you're going to have to panel some things, right? I mean, you're going to have to put, an applied panel on some of your ends, if you're using, if you're using pilot holes. Well, is that piece of material for that applied panel, is that worth the time saved having to go pocket hole everything or not? Like it's a trade-off, time versus dollars, and so we're going to give it a run for a little bit. We're going to give it a run and not pocket hole. We're going to, and see, and see it. Am I able actually to push? I mean, and so far, I cut, it wasn't a big job, but I cut a 10 sheet job and assembled it in the same day yesterday. Normally a 10 sheet job, it would have taken me, I would say about the whole day to fully prep it, not cut it, but dados and shelf pans and all this stuff. I typically would do a day of cutting and then assemble it the next day, but so there is a balance, but,
yeah. And
it's how many jobs where can I save to get one more job?
One more job a year. And you can lay in bed at night, and you do, and I do, and in the shower and on vacation, this stuff never leaves you. We've said that a million times, but you can think something's going to work out, but we have to try it. We can't come in and say from now on, this is what we're going to do, and then it fall apart. Hey, why don't let's try doing this on the next one? And if it works, it works, or we kind of dive in a little further or whatever, but you're getting jobs out, you're hammering stuff out, you're keeping everybody happy, you're making payroll, and you're also constantly trying to improve your process. You can't stay stuck in the mud. Everybody else is just going to leave you,
Yeah. We just did a full hinge conversion. Changed some brands completely. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we went to this clip-in hinge from Salice, and the idea is because we don't finish, that the doors they're getting dinged when the finisher takes them down and packs them up, and they're getting these dings in them. And we're like, what is there a way we can prevent that? And I don't know if you've seen these or not. I got one laying right here.
He's going to get it. He's coming back.
I thought they were pretty cool. If you're not on video, then you don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Then all you hear is a bag opening.
Yeah. Now, I don't have one open. Oh my goodness. Of course.
Here we go. Hurry up.
Right.
People are waiting, man.
It's a 5-hour podcast. So they can wait a second. I don't have a screwdriver on me, but there's no screws. So this the Logica. So when you put it in this, I can get it open. My hand. So it's got that door, and then that guy, it's got a wedge in it. So when you close the door, it wedges into the door and locks.
Does it wedge on the bigger hole or on the two dowels?
Yeah, it's not on the big one. I think just Grass does the big one.
Titus does too.
Titus. I think Titus might be who I was thinking of. But when they pull this, the anchors aren't in the door either. So like when our guy takes the screws out, you still got the anchors. So we're gonna give these a shot, and plus if you ever get a chance to have a side-by-side comparison of a Salice hinge versus a Bloom hinge and what the geometry of the hinge does when you make adjustments, check it out. I don't know how to explain it in this format to make it make sense, but basically the Bloom hinge, when you move it certain directions, it also does another direction that you're not realizing that it does. So you're constantly chasing it.
Yeah. Running in circles.
Yeah, and the Salice hinge, when I adjust it, it only goes in the direction that you're trying to make the adjustment. I don't.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting on Titus to have a local distributor. We're going to give them a shot. Same concept. You can clip it, and I know guys. I know Bloom's got one. We know, but these you can take them out or not even put them in and flat pack your doors on the trailer and not have to worry about hinges dinging another door or something like that. Little bit. I'm doing a podcast.
And that was the other advantage that we wanted to, was to not put the hinges in on the bore machine.
Yep. Come here. You want to say, hey? I think she may want to go out. Come here.
She's had enough of you. She ready to leave.
Look. Oh, you almost there, yeah. That wait a minute. Anyway, she wanted to come in here. I tried to tell her she couldn't come in, and she got all sad and was like staring at me, and I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So I'll let her out in just a minute.
We're switching to plates too. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
So we're going to
do the side mounts?
Well, on some, but we haven't fully committed, but we're going to try them on some jobs, but instead of the wings.
Speaking of plates, man, Charlie came in here and said, Mitch, I need a 3/8 overlay plate. And I was like, I ain't got none. And he was like, I said, what's it for? And he's like, some job I did, 20 years ago. And I was like, well, you're going to need a hinge too. He's like, well, yeah, I knew that. And I was like, okay. And so he goes, I said, well, just go back there and see whatever you can find, So he goes looking, he's like, where's all your random plates and hinges at? Because that's the life he lived, dude. Like, You don't even know, man.
I'm going to put these away before I hurt myself.
Yeah, you almost took your nipple off. What if you cut your nipple off with a hinge? That'd be
an interesting story to tell.
Yeah, so anyway, I sold him 2 Blooms with some plates. He's like, I said, well, these are 1/2-inch overlay. I said, I think you could tweak these enough to get whatever. And it was a single door.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, really, dude? Yeah. What, okay. By the way, speaking of that, had the concrete guy that poured the slab for our new house. He called me and said, hey, I need you to make me a door, and sent me a picture of it. And of course it was some weird arch top raised panel, like from the early 90s. And it had this weird outside edge, this weird inside profile. And I was like, let me look and see how close I can get to it. So I did, and I could get pretty close to it. I said, okay. And I said, send me the size of the door you want me to order. And he's like, okay, 18 by 41 or whatever it was. So I was like, okay, I'm going to order that size door. He's like, all right. I ordered the door. It finally came in.
Crisp in grain.
Do what?
Crisp in grain.
Went to go put it in, and that was the opening size. So not only that, but the only thing that saved us is he wanted to use the old school exposed hinges. And so I was able to cheat the door where there was, the other side was technically, it was to cover a air return unit, right, where your air conditioner is in your closet. So the right side, it was hinged left, right side was somewhat making contact at the bottom corner and the far corner. And you could see like a 16th-inch gap on the hinge side. I cheated the door over. And I said, I told him, I said, I'm just going to hang this, and you're going to have to get a strip to cover these gaps. That's, and I didn't want to say like, I did what you told me to do.
Yeah.
Because he don't know, man. He just measured the opening. I should have double checked or whatever. No, I shouldn't have. I'm not going to apologize to it. I ordered what the man told me to order.
Yeah. But now next time to say, is that the opening or is that the door?
Right.
Because
and I said, I ordered what you sent me. This was the door size you told. He's like, well, I don't know nothing about that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. That's a good point. And you did a good job on my concrete. And so I got the door for $0. So that was good. So anyway, I told him, I said, well, the best part about it, no charge. He's like, what? I said, no charge, dude. You did a good job on my concrete. You're in the trades. I'm in the trades. I was in Troy. I had to put 4 screws in your wall. Literally. I held the door up there and screwed it in. Like, no, I didn't even have to put hardware on it. Right. So he now, instead of being mad that it took me so long, it took me like 2 months to get this door in and hang it. And that's my fault. But instead of being mad about that, now he's probably going to go to somebody and go, hey, if you need any work done, man, this dude right here, he do you right, he's honest, whatever. So, but always double check. Always double check. Well, we're building right. I'm not gonna cover a couple of these because I don't know. They seem a little bit dodgy.
What? I mean, we might do a little spice.
There is.
We can always bail out. I mean, if we really want to.
Yeah. I just had to be careful with the details. But hose, I got to cover this hose tore up on the hose. What do you pay for hose, Travis?
I'm married.
Huh?
I'm married. I don't pay anything for hose.
You be buying hose. I know you buy hose sometimes. Don't lie to me.
I actually just recently did find a gasket company in town, and surprisingly enough, have a lot more than gaskets there. They did like all of my air supplies and all for the CNC. It was, I mean, like all the fittings and everything, all them wild compression fittings and all for air.
Yeah.
I mean, they had them all. I was like, this is a good little source.
Do they have a gasket for a 1951 Red Devil Model 30 paint shaker?
I am going to tell you this though, probably not. But what he does have,
useless. Burn it down.
Now you fixing to eat them words. You fix
okay.
Eat them words, because you know what he does have. He
Hmm.
has a gasket cutting CNC machine back there.
All right.
He can cut you whatever gasket you need on this little. Actually, he can't, because he said, I told the boys when I ordered this that I didn't want to learn the first thing about it. I'm learning new things.
Yeah.
But he did, because we found out we were doing air for a CNC. He was like, had some questions, and he's like, well, let me take you on a little shop tour, which Kurt was with me. Kurt took me there. And so, which both of us were like, yeah, let's go to do that. So like, he's got the hydraulic, the machine to pull the hydraulics apart, like bulldozer, hydraulic arms. He can pull them apart, whatever you do.
Repaint this bear.
Yeah. And but like he can remill them, like if they're out of round or, what all. And I mean, then he's got like all the way around the shop, he's got all these things hanging up on the wall. He goes, those are my old templates from where I had to hand cut gaskets. He said, now we can do them all on there. Send it to me and I can get you a gasket made for it. I guarantee you.
Well, I got Tammy to pick up some oil resistant RTV silicone today, so I'm going to go old school with it and do it that way. I bought the paint shaker $285 in Tallahassee. They had a pet deer there. Yeah, we pulled up and got out, and I was like, this dog, I'm not paying attention. There's a couple dogs running around, whatever, And I said, this dog has got a stick. You know how sticky a deer's mouth is? It's like molasses.
I did not know that.
Oh, it's so gross, dude. It is super sticky. And this deer comes up and started licking my hand, and I'm like, that's a weird dog. And I looked down, and it was not a dog. It was a deer. And they're like, that's Jerry or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I can't remember what that was. Yeah. So I just started petting this deer, and talking about a freaking 70-year-old paint shaker. And he's like, well, it works. He plugged it in, turned it on, and the thing just, it's they sit on springs. And so whatever the shaker does, the springs, kind of do the opposite or whatever and keeps it up.
Makes it extra jiggly.
Yes. And he had another one. He goes, I got another shaker down there. It's not a Red Devil. And he's like, you can have it. Since you didn't argue with me about the price. I'm like, $285 for this thing. I'm not dude, they go $1,500, $1,800 for an old wore out one all day.
Really?
A new one that's got two shakers, one on the left, one on the right, and they do 2 1-gallon cans. Red Devil. Look them up. It is ridiculous.
How many? What size cans? Gallons?
1 gallon. Yeah. So I've been wanting one for years, and they came across this deal, immediately messaged him, and I told Tammy, I said, don't care, not asking, I'm going to get it. So Trey and I kind of refurbished it. We cleaned it, took it all apart, cleaned all the parts, sanded, got everything moving again.
See, that's the other reason why I gave you the Edge Bander. You have a tray.
Yeah.
You have a tray to play with these things with.
That's the first thing we did was dug into that thing.
I know, but I got a nothing. I got a me, and I ain't got no time. Yeah. But you two can, if I was close enough, you and I would sit down there and tinker with it, but I don't have anybody to tinker with, with me. I was like, man, I'm too figure this thing out.
Yeah. We had it figured out. Well, we probably spent 2 hours going through it, looking at it and figuring out how it worked.
You were pretty dialed the first day on what you thought it was. You were like, I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. But we took that thing apart. The thing is, we had to it's got a cap on it. So the mechanism in the top is just a little cam that attaches to the little rod that's touching the 2 cans, and it just runs it in a circle. And so the cans they tilt forward and back and go left and right. It's just not random. It's just like that. But it's oil filled in the top. So I filled it with oil, and I knew it was probably going to leak. Put the lid back on it, and of course it's, pissing oil out every now and then. So I got to get a gasket for that. But I mean, and I'm telling you, I might be crazy, but the paint, after you shake it on there for 3 or 4 minutes, sprays 100 times better than if you stirred it.
Really?
I'm telling you that, man. I don't think that's just me. I've sprayed thousands and thousands of gallons of paint. It sprays better shaking. It's thinner. It's like it almost takes the viscosity down. It gets everything so well mixed that, the carrier can actually be dispersed within the paint enough where it's all, and it sprays so much better.
Well, maybe you're the James Bond of the paint world. Shaken, not stirred.
Shaking us. Now we do fight about who's going to run the shaker because we kind of just got it going on. And I said, we need to shake out of the can. And I look at Trey. He takes off and gets the can. I was like, Trey, man, I want to shake one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, too late. Too bad.
It's like we got this new dog feeder, and like everybody wants to feed the dog now. Have you seen the ones where you just pull the lever on top and the dog bowl shoots out and it's got food in it?
No.
It holds like a whole bag of dog food, and you just pull the lever on top and the tray, and you put the bowl in it that's whatever size you want the dog to get fed, and you just pull it out, and there's your food.
Let me borrow it, and I'm gonna put it up back there with Bobo. Let's see what happens.
Bobo will flip that thing over and eat everything out of
it.
Actually, he wouldn't be able to eat, the lid locks. I mean, he would be rolling it around the yard, but
he tore up a piece of firewood.
Well, he's the size of a house, so
yeah, he tore up a piece of firewood and tore up a metal like an outdoor fireplace type thing. It's like the big bowl that you put the wood in. Tore that up
like a fire pit.
Yeah, like a fire pit, like a metal fire pit. Tore it up. A few other things he's torn up back there.
Well, at least
he managed
can't come in the house anymore in this house.
Yeah, see, Kim gets mad because we don't let him in, and I'm like, we let him in, but he goes straight to his crate, and we lock the door.
She gets mad because it's not her house. If it was her house, she would be in 100%.
Come on, back it up. Back it up.
What happened there?
You fell all the way down.
What happened?
You fell down.
Wow, that ground was hard. Because it's not her house. She would be 100% in support of that dog staying outside if it was her house.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just big, and, it's just, I don't know. But we had to put heavy stuff on top of the freezer because he watched us go out there and open that freezer and get meat out because we got a deep freeze on the back porch. And he was like, okay, that's how that works. And opened the freezer and ate like a gallon of frozen goat milk. And I think maybe some fish sticks or something like that. So now we have heavy stuff on top. I mean, he's not a bad dog. He's just doing what dogs do.
What a dog does.
They look for food. They want to eat it, So we've got to put the lawnmowers and things on the back porch until I get the shed and everything built. We'll cover that later. That's going to be fun. But we're looking for a way to keep the dogs out of that little area of the back porch so they don't chew the tires off of it or something.
Electricity.
Yes. I think we're going to try to route the underground fence over there somehow.
Block him.
And get it. But yeah, you just have to give him notice on that kind of thing.
How does he respond to electricity?
He respects it.
Yeah.
Because he's got the stubborn dog collar.
Gotcha.
That it'll beep and that's it.
Little bit of extra
any closer,
amperage.
Yeah. If you go any closer, it doesn't give you much of a warning. It'll beep at you.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's going to nail you.
What is it that kills you? Is it volts or amperage? Can't remember.
Don't get me started on that, dude. It's very complicated.
Yeah, but because a taser uses whatever a taser uses is good.
It's current that is what kills you. It's the amps that kill you. But that being said, 120 volts at 3 amps is not going to kill you, but 175,000 volts at 1 milliamp will blow your head off.
Right.
So it's
not a straight line.
Yeah, but it's not a straight line.
Yeah.
It's not 3 amps kill you. It's the amps, how much pressure is behind that, right? Voltage is pressure. Amps is current.
Gotcha.
So, if you got a tiny stream that's flowing 10 miles an hour, it's not very powerful. But if you have kind
of like a water hose versus a pressure washer.
Yeah. If you have a 10-mile wide river that's flowing at 10 miles an hour, it can tear a dam down. But a tiny, so it's complicated, but the short answer is, it's the current. Stun gun is, a few thousand volts and just milliamps of current.
Right.
Otherwise your heart would explode. They don't really want to do that, but anyway, so
I watched
we got
a cool video of a girl getting tased in a waiting room while I was waiting on you to jump on. It was funny.
You know who loves those videos? That'd be Joseph.
Oh, really?
Laughs hysterically.
Well, it was so funny because it was a cop and a security guard, and the cop pulls the taser, or he's got a gun pointing it at the girl because she pulls a knife out of the bag, and the security guard's wrestling with her, and he never sees the knife, and the cop goes, she's got a knife, and without hesitation, the security guard just drops her, backs up, pow. I mean, didn't give the cop a chance to say no. He just tased the crap out of her. Well, he said, I don't have to fill out a report for you tasing her, so okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love tasing. I love watching tasing videos, dude. They're so funny.
I hated getting taser certified.
I bet.
Well, I was an instructor, and when the first instructor's course I went to, the guy, I kid you not, I think he got let go. He was like the co-creator or something, Hans. He would tase you in class. Like, ask you a question, you get the question wrong, he tase you.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I didn't like that too much. Wasn't down to clown like that.
Mm-mm.
All right, what you got next? You got something?
All right, so hose. That's how we started. That's how we got on
We
this.
still hadn't covered that?
Yeah, off the rails.
Welcome aboard.
The paint pump the hose busted right below the fitting where it goes into the bottom of the pump. And for you people who don't finish, just bear with me. Big deal when you have a leak in your pickup tube for your paint. That's hey, buddy, huge deal.
Yeah.
Pumps down.
Yeah.
Called Richie Lou, and I said, hey, I need a pickup tube for that paint pump I bought from you guys. What model number is it?
Well, I can tell you at Richie Lou, you went wrong.
Yeah. I said, I don't know what model number it is. You sold it about 5 years ago to me. I have no idea. Well, go look and see if you can find it. Buddy, really? So I went, I was like, there's no model number on it. I gave you the serial number is what I gave him. He's like, well, that don't really do me a whole lot. I said, well, there's no model number on it. So anyway, he goes, well, I'm going to have to go back and look and try to find, really? At your desk?
That's why I called
Salesman? Yeah, the guy who sold it to me, Mr. Salesman, you're going to have I'm sorry. Don't get me started, dude. Anyway.
No, our Richie Lou rep came by the other day and she said, anything you need to tell me? I said, nothing I didn't tell you last time about how sorry y'all are.
I understand I'm a small fish in y'all's big pond, but I'm a fish all the same. And I pay good money to come out of my wallet for that daggone pump. And you're sitting at a desk, dude. You can look up the pump number. I'm sorry. You can look up the pump number.
I was in Tractor Supply yesterday. I'm not going to derail you too bad on this one, but I went in, I needed propane. Cash register was kind of busy. So I walked past the cash register, didn't bother her, went to the customer service desk. Customer service guy looks at me and says, can I help you? I stood there for a second or two. And I said, yeah. I said, I just need to get some propane. I need to get my propane tank filled. He goes, well, just go up there and tell. And he goes, you know what? I'll have somebody meet you out there in the yard. I said, that was the right answer because you were just about to mess up. Because I'm at customer service. Don't tell me to go somewhere else when I'm at customer service.
Look at the sign. What's that sign say, pal? Who am I and what do I need?
I didn't go to the directory desk,
People, man. Anyway.
And he was nice. He ended up pumping my gas.
Good.
And he was nice.
The guy calls me back at an undisclosed amount of time later. And he says, yeah, this little 20-inch hose is $560.
What's it made out of? Gold lining?
Probably like leprechaun poop or something. I don't know, but I said, I'm sorry, buddy. You're looking at the wrong part. Like, I'll give you $3,500 for the whole pump and the gun and the tip and the hose. No chance a 20-inch rubber hose with a steel fitting on the end of it is $560 worth of this purchase. He says, yeah, it is. I looked at it, double checked it. And I tell you what else, it's going to be 6 weeks before they can get it. And this water ain't got none. Ain't got none. Ain't stop. I said, really? He's like, yeah, sorry. But at that point, I'm down.
Right.
He don't care.
No.
He's moving on to the next email, Sales rep from Rugby came in. New guy. You can always tell with a new, can't you? He comes in with his little belt and his slacks on and his sunglasses and his hat. Hey, Mitch, my name's, whatever. I say, hey, man. He's like, man, I know, man, whoa, what a nice place. Really? You know how they do. They start all this stuff. And I've been through it a million times, man. And he's like,
because your shop is, it's nice. It's old, but you got a lot going on in there. It's nice.
Yeah, it's all cluttered and craps everywhere, man. He's looking like it's the Taj Mahal. Wow, this place, golly.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm like, come on, dude, don't start like this. And he was like, He was like, well, I'm, whatever. And he's kind of, he said, I noticed you spray ML Campbell. He said, yeah, I was in finish for a long time. It's primarily what I did was finish, and this and that. And I was like, okay, who you with? He's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm with Rugby. And I said, how long you been there? A week, 2 weeks? He said, well, this is actually my 3rd week.
Who is Rugby? I've never heard of them. What do they do?
So Rugby is architectural supply company, and they are freaking awesome. I don't buy hardly anything from them, but if you need it, they got it. If it's made out of wood, they got it. So they sell plywood, lumber, that sort of thing. But their lumber, like you need some 4/4 mahogany, they got it. You want 4/4 spalted chestnut, they've got it. Like they've got. They sell. They probably sell. Yep. They probably sell to whoever you buy your lumber from. Anyway, so super nice guy. He comes in and it kind of gets to talking, and I'm like, all right, he's from Rugby. I don't buy a lot from Rugby. He's new there. So they got him out drumming up business, So I told him, I said, look, buddy, I'm going to stop you. I said, I get my plywood and my lumber from Vaughn, went through that whole spiel about how good a relationship that is. And I said, I'm not really looking to move or anything. He said, man, I totally understand that. He said, but just not just for lumber, we're going to try to get into selling some other stuff. And I was like, yeah. I said, you guys are kind of far away. They're up around Clanton.
Looks like Birmingham. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just down the road from the Hickory Chip barbecue house. Huge place, by the way. It's awesome to go in there. But anyway, so he was like, no, yeah, that's fine. He said, I'm not down to pressure you, which he wasn't. He never tried to get me to buy anything from him or whatever. And so I had it, I was talking to him. I was like, they want $560 for this pickup hose. And he was like, man, you need to call this other place up in Birmingham. And I can't remember the name of it. I got it right here.
They're tied to Warren Brothers.
Might be. But he told me about this place called Rosar's Paint in Birmingham. He said, call them and just see, they deal with that kind of stuff. I think they got some Anesta stuff. Just call them. I called him. I said, and by this time I had went and looked and I knew the model number that I had, right? So I told him, I said, here's the model number I've got. I need to pick up tube assembly for it. And I said, I'm just telling you right now, Richie Lou, I think, has bumped their head on how much they want for this little hose. He's like, all right. He said, well, I have to look it up. We don't stock it here. I have to look it up and find out what we got going on. So he calls me back in about an hour, which was less time than the other guy, mind you.
Right.
And he said, we got the whole assembly. It'll be here in about a week. We can ship it to you. It's $280. I don't know these people. I have no idea who they are. First time they've ever talked to me. The place, he had to have had that wrong. I found them once I got the part number, I found them online all day long for $300.
Yeah, maybe he had the wrong number or something.
And he wanted 560. And he goes, man, that just sounds crazy. I said, yeah, I'm not buying that. Anyway, I still got a problem.
Yeah. A week out.
My AAA is sucking up air, and you don't want that. Jimmy works at a place where they build hydraulic lines, they build trucks, they build like everything from scratch. And so she's like, bring it up here. We may have a fitting. We can, redo it or whatever. So I took it up there, and David, he cut the crimp off, and turns out it just slides, the fitting just slides into the hose. So he just cut the bad part of the hose off, slid the fitting back in there, and put 2 hose clamps on it. 20 cents.
Back in business.
And I'm back in business, dude. Now I'm still getting the pickup hose, cause it's dry rotted. It's solvent leaches the nutrients out of the hose, if you will. But so I still got it coming, but it's crazy, man. You go up, and like a lot of people don't understand that here we have basically 2 complete machine shops. I mean, that do work for Lockheed Martin, that do work for the military, that do work for huge industrial parks.
Yeah.
And it's a few miles down the road,
Crazy.
So we don't have everything, but man, if you can get some weird stuff made,
Yeah, that was kind of my experience when I went to that gasket company, and he's like, I've got all these kind of hoses and all these adapters and put the fittings on. And I was like, wow. Man.
But I think it's important. And that's why I touched on that guy from Rugby, because he's doing his job, but also I didn't shoot him down. Now I've sent plenty of people. I've sold 8 or 10 units of plywood for Rugby.
Yeah.
Through my builders. Like they would call and they'd be like, I need a unit of this. And I'm like, well, Rugby's got it. Rugby gave me 8 hats at the end of the year. and I spent $300 with them all year. And they're like, yeah, but you seeing people up here all the time. So I was just open and honest. And I think we need to treat those sales, they're doing their job. Don't be mad because they walk into your shop. Now, if they are rude or pushy or don't respect your time, that's one thing.
See, that's why I struggle a little bit, because we have them walk in here and they'll see 3 people with their head down, just digging as hard as they possibly can, and just want to stop by and talk, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I guess I can be a little cold, but I kind of look at them like the door-to-door, solicitor. I'm like, not once while eating my dinner did I think, man, I sure wish somebody would come by and sell me some window washing, because I sure would like my windows to be cleaned. I mean,
I was painting when he showed up.
Yeah.
And Riley came back and said, hey, there's a guy down here. I said, where's he from? And she said, Ruby. I said, oh, that's a rugby salesman. I said, tell him I'll be down there in a minute. And I looked, and this dude went to the side where he was not in my line of sight. He just stood right over to the side.
Yeah.
Because he knew, if he's just sitting there like staring at me, it could get in my head. And he brought that up, and he was like, I got out of the way because he said, I go into shops and somebody's running the table saw. And he said, I don't walk where they can see me. I stay back again. Like, he was he understood.
Yeah. Well,
the assignment.
Yeah.
And he stayed and talked. He wasn't like, him and I just had a conversation, like 99% of it didn't have anything to do with rugby. It was just, it was around lunchtime. So,
yeah.
And
I'll tell you what's weird. I had a guy the other day, and you've been here, so you know what I'm saying. But so, like, instead of coming through the shop door that's like the middle, like the lobby, and coming in that door, next thing I know, he's coming out the shop door from my office. So he's come into my office and helped himself on through and is coming out to the shop in that door. And I'm like, and I guess maybe it's my fault, because jokingly I made this, like, I 3D printed this sign that's on that door now. It says the workshop on it. But like, just because it's my office, and I just thought it was funny, but and he's like, what kind of air compressors y'all running? I said, hell, I don't know. I said, I got shit to get on the trailer. I mean, it's 3:30 and I got to get stuff on the trailer at 4:30. Like,
guys, let me tell y'all something that happened.
I mean,
I wasn't there, but I promise you that happened exactly like he just said it.
I looked straight at him and said, I don't know. I said, but what do you need? Well, I do compressor servicing. I said, well, ours is brand new. I'm pretty sure it don't need servicing. I said, but if you want to talk to us, I said, at least there's a table in there in that room you should have came through. Just leave some paperwork there. And I said, we'll look at it on, when we're not under a timeline. I said, but I'm on a deadline right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, he was nice about it, and I probably could have been nicer, but.
Well, you're in a stressful situation.
You're like.
I like them when they come to the front and they stay at the very front.
Yeah.
And they wait on me to see them.
Yeah.
They don't come all the way back here, dude. You don't have any business being back here.
No. I want a big old sign on that shop door that says, were you invited?
Yeah.
Machines are in operation.
I can only imagine. It's I don't get that many of them a year down here.
Now, I did about a week ago. I did put my foot in my mouth. A guy come by and he's like, y'all cabinet shop, right? And I'm kind of, doing the short change thing with him. Turns out somehow he was a builder looking for us and was wanting us to do some cabinetry.
You're like, yeah, what about it?
And I did tell him, I said, man, I'm sorry. I said, if I came off a little short, I'm sorry. I said, we get people in here all the time that are looking for either the previous business or another business in the on Industrial Drive. And they feel like that we're Google of, to tell them where to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what about our building looks so inviting for them to come and ask us, do you know where, and they'll come in the door and know they're at the wrong place and go, do you know where such and such is? No, I don't. I come here. And I go home. I don't search up and down Industrial trying to figure out where everybody's business is. When somebody comes in the door, I can tell you. I'm not a directory.
Do you remember the first time a salesman came into like your shop or where you were working by yourself? Because you had a garage. I doubt many of them came.
Nobody came to any shop because my house, it was always a residential address on my business stuff. I never put the shop address until we moved to here.
Oh, okay.
I never put a shop address because I had.
So this is the first time you're seeing these random salesmen pop in.
Yeah, but it's been for a year and a half now. I mean, but what do I put? Goat Barn 1 for the other shop.
Man,
behind Billy's house for shop 2. Like,
yeah, put his address down there, and you have salesmen stop by all the time.
And have I told you the drama with this shop?
You said that it might be swapping hands.
It's for sale. Yeah. Yeah, fun.
I didn't want to bring it up. I was going to let you.
Yeah,
bring it
fun.
Up,
so if anybody got 1.5 million, they'd like to buy this shop and then let us rent it back from you, that we're game. We're game for that conversation.
Yeah.
It's got storage units in the back. There's 32 units. They roughly 10 grand a month in income, you know.
Yeah. Why don't you buy it?
I don't want to put 1.5 million into here because it's too small for us to stay here. We got another. We're good for another year, maybe year and a half. I mean, we would do a 2-year lease after this one. We wanted to. Ironically enough, the day they come to tell us that they were putting it up for sale, like earlier that day, Derek's like, they're on my to-do list to contact to go ahead and see if we can get another 2-year lease going since we got the CNC coming in 2 days. Like it was like 2 days before the machine was delivering.
Yeah,
That they came and told us
that.
And we're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
you're sitting there staring down the barrel.
Are you serious? We just spent another $6 grand in electrical and ducting and all this other stuff to get ready for this machine to arrive. And you're telling us in less than a year, we're going to have to possibly leave.
Yeah. I don't give away too much, but are y'all over $1 a square foot typically for renting warehouse space like that up there?
So yeah, a little bit, not by much. Cause it's a 4,000 square foot building, 1,000 square foot of office, 3,000 square feet of shop, and it's 5,000 a month.
Yeah. Okay. So you're over a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So not by much, but
yeah, I had no idea that there was like a statistic that is the rent is kind of determined by the square footage. It's so much a square foot typically. I had no idea that world existed.
Yeah. Like the last shop that he was 80 cents a square foot is where he came up with his price. So
yeah.
That shop behind the guy's house.
Yeah.
You know, because when I rented the additional space, that's what we based it off of. But $1 a square foot, $1.10. I mean, that's good. I mean, for this area, it's good. It's good price.
You got a nice place up there, man. And it's like it's in an industrial setting. In other words, the neighbor's not complaining because they see sawdust in the air or something when you're out dumping that barrel.
And we can get all the 18-wheeler deliveries. That's the biggest thing is that we can take 18-wheelers showing up and dropping stuff. I mean, I don't know what we would do without that. I mean, that's been a game changer as far as not having to go get stuff, you know.
So at your last shop, you didn't have that, did you?
No.
God, that's crazy, man, to think about that.
No, I had to go get everything in the trailer.
Everything that comes in here comes on the big truck. So you had to go and get, seemed like I do remember you having to go get your wood a lot of the time.
Yeah, I remember when I got trapped in the trailer underneath the plywood because, it all fell on me. I saw that deputy yesterday at Mule Day that's rescued me. I didn't ask if he remembered me or not because I'm sure there's no way he didn't remember that. Like, there's no way you don't remember that story of showing up and hearing somebody going, I'm in here. I mean, because I could hear him walking around.
Did you call him?
Yeah, I called him on my watch. My phone, I didn't have my phone on me. My phone was in the office charging, ironically enough. And I called 911 on my watch.
I don't know if you told me that story.
I swear I had to have. I had about 15 sheets of MDF fall on top of me. They were stacked vertically on the wall of the trailer.
In the trailer.
And I was trying to get out like a 1/4-inch sheet out of the middle, and I was holding the stack and trying to work that 1/4-inch out, and it wobbled and it lost balance. And I mean, it was like 15 sheets of MDF. I thought I was gonna lose my leg.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. Like I know I exaggerate.
Right, it's like
when I tell stories.
What is it? That stuff's well over 100 pounds a sheet.
98 pounds a sheet, somewhere right around there. Yeah. I mean, and it pinned me, and the way it pinned, I was able to get one leg out straight, but the other leg, I mean, it was going fast. Like you could, it was falling asleep. You could feel the blood falling out. And I was like, I'm in a bad spot. Like
how long did it take him to get there?
Oh, at least 2 to 3 hours. I mean, no, it was probably 5 minutes, but it was a long 5 minutes, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I was on the phone with 911 on my watch, and then I kind of lost connection with them, and then I could hear them walking around like, what's going on? Who's here? Where's here? I was like, I'm in the trailer. And they were like, what? And because even if you kind of like looked real quick, you might not have seen me from one side because I had
because you're all pretzeled in there.
I had a pile of plywood on top of me. Yeah. I mean, but I mean, I was getting nervous by the time they showed up. I was like, I mean, it took me a little bit to get like circulation going back on my leg.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my God, if I did not have the ability to call somebody, I don't know what would have happened.
You could have lost your foot, dude. Straight up, like it don't take that
Yeah,
long to
I'm-
lose blood in your
I
foot.
don't want to over exaggerate the situation, but I mean, it honestly felt that way. Like it was sketchy. And from that point on, like I've tried to get like I will cut service off on my watch because it's a cellular Apple Watch, like not
Okay, yeah.
Bluetooth. And I've
Yeah.
wanted to cut service off on it. And Kim's like, no. She's like, just in case. Like, which I'm not by myself much anymore, you know, now that we've put the two shops together. But she's like, I just would, because I wear it religiously, you know, I mean, I have it, you know, till I
Well,
go to bed.
where does Kim put you at on the clumsy scale? Where would Kim say you're at? 10, can't walk, 1, never fall down.
I mean, there's like my dad, and then I'm like right underneath.
So you're pretty high.
Well, I'm pretty high, yeah. Especially,
I was going to say spectrum, but I didn't say that.
especially mad or frustrated. Like those caution just goes to the wind. And you know, and then I do stupid things like you've been so mad at me today. I yelled a cuss word really, really loudly, and nobody was hurt. And 2 people thought that I'd like cut a finger off, and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But I was putting a little beveled edge on a door, on these ash doors that have more time of my life than I would like to tell you that they have consumed. Because again, nothing personal against Coleman, but we ordered some slab ash doors from them, and they turned into Pringles like the second day we had them. So I had to cut every one of them apart and re-glue them together. I think I told you about that on the phone. And anyway, so we had these handles routed into the bottom of them, just these finger pull handles, and one of them jumped on the router, and you could tell. So we had to fix that. So we went through all the pain to fix that, and I was putting the bevel on it again because they've got V grooves on them. So where the 2 come together, I did a half V groove. Well, I was not paying attention that I was using a bearing bit, and when I got to where the handle was no longer there, it went in.
It dipped in,
and it zipped the corner of the same corner that we had just repaired. I zipped it right off.
That's I do crap like that, dude. Don't feel bad.
I mean, and we were trying to get him to the finisher today because he's so far behind that, I mean, I got a text message while we've been doing this thing that like, I don't even want to show up to the job site tomorrow because it's just about going to be a waste of time. He's so far behind. But I hit that zip and I just real loud, and everybody looked, and I was like, I'm not dead. I didn't cut anything off. But I mean, one of them, they really thought I was like, yeah, I shouldn't do that in a shop. Like
that would be a textbook snafu.
Yeah.
You know, we have some snafu. We be snafu-alating around here sometimes.
Sometimes it gets on you and you can't get it off. I mean, it just.
Hey, and it's random. You ever notice it's not ever first thing in the morning? It's just you're doing the same thing that you've done a million times, and all of a sudden just poof. You know, and you're picking up the pieces, dude, and you're like, golly, man, what in the world?
Well, then same door to make it worse. We were looking at it and it had a split in it. And we were like, well, we thought we were going to glue it and repair the split. And Derek's like, well, I guess it's just a good time. We'll just go ahead and address the split. He said, just cut it off right on the split. I didn't even check up or think. I put it on the slider and I go through and I felt a little tension in one spot and I felt a little tension in the other spot. I said, how about that? I hit the dominoes from where I assembled it. Because sometimes when you cut through them, you can feel that extra material.
Yep.
Flipped it over. Nope, not the domino at all. It's the threaded inserts we put on the back of the doors to keep them from going flat, to keep them from curling. I went straight through the center of them. Luckily, apparently they're aluminum, and
that is good.
They're soft enough that it didn't damage the blade.
Yeah, you probably would have heard it if they were steel.
Yeah, it didn't damage the blade.
It's probably
at all.
some sort of cast thing.
Yeah, but I was like, now there's another thing to fix. Like it just was starting to.
That one door is cursing.
Yeah, and then the same door, the finisher had decided to use that door as a stain sample door for some reason. I swear I know how to talk. A stain sample door.
I was going to let it go, man.
And so we were able to sand like the top, but where he put stain in the stupid V groove, Derek's like, well, what if we just kiss it real lightly with the bit again? I said, nope, not
me. You do
3 minutes ago, I might have said yes. Now, I'm not doing anything extra to this door. That's his problem. He put that stain in that spot. I mean, they're getting stained super dark. So, I mean, I don't think, from what I know about stain, I don't think it'll matter. But I was
How about this?
No.
You know, we've talked about whole jobs being like that.
Yeah.
You know, but, and I'm just waiting on the sky to fall on this job because this is the one that Cole helped us with. Install went perfect. We did have to snatch out some pantry shelves, but that, you know, that wasn't my fault. I'm like, hey, cuz, cabinet ain't gonna fit in the pantry. He's like, why? Did you build it too big? I was like, nope. Somebody decided to put shelf. So you go through the door, and if you would have walked straight through the door, you hit the 3 shelves, right? They're on the wall in front of the door. Well, my cabinet is going to the wall on the right. So when I tried to bring the cabinet in, boom, I hit the pantry shelves and the cabinet's still sticking out the door. And you can't go up above it. You can't do anything. So he was like, I said, dude, I can have another cabinet here in a day or two. He's like, nah, I got granite scheduled for tomorrow. So I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, snatch your shelf out. I said, okay. So one of his guys came over to like help, whatever.
Yeah.
Which that kind of thing happens from time to time. I mean, it's, anyway, but that's the only thing that went wrong on that job. Like the paint on these doors is probably some of the best I've laid. And I'm telling you, I think it's because of that shaker. But besides that, this sucker has just been rolling right on, man.
Maybe somebody will chime in with you and say that you're not crazy and it's the shaker that's helping.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's laid down like it's not. Anyway, so I'm just waiting. I probably ordered half the doors wrong size or something. Something's going to happen.
Let me know. I'll send you some.
Yeah.
I'll mill them up real quick.
I got my own pile. I can pick through and try to find.
No, I'll CNC you some new ones real quick. Send them to you.
Oh, heck yeah. But, that kind of thing happens. Like I said, it's a frog, man. It jumps on your back.
It does.
There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. And sometimes it's one thing, and it's so random. With the hose on the paint pump, it just started tick, 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 like clicking real quick. And I'm like, what is it? Trey's like, what is that?
Because is it trying to get the paint up? Like, is that
that's right? Yeah, it's losing its prime.
Yeah,
and you don't want a paint pump like that to tick 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 real fast. It's nice and slow, click 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 click. And then the other day, I'm trying to get the thing to suck the paint up, and the freaking pump wouldn't go up and down. I said, golly, man, I done told this man I was gonna have these doors out here. My paint pump screwing up. I don't know what to do.
Must have put a wedding ring on it,
dude. It was not sucking.
I told you I'm
that.
punchy. I'm tired.
I can tell you that, but. Come to find out, I had the pressure maxed out, and the thing just wasn't pumping. Like it was trying to come up, and I'm like, gracious. You know what I was doing wrong? You have to pull the trigger on the gun to pump paint. It's not going to pump with the trigger off.
That makes sense. It would.
Right.
You don't want to just put pressure on the hose for no reason, right?
Right. I'm surprised the hose didn't bust. And I'm like, you idiot. So now it's got all this pressure in there. And so I turn it down, but buddy, that pressure's still on that thing. And I pull the trigger, and it's like, boom, all the paint flies out the end of it. And, just stupid crap like that, man. But then the other day, you save a train from wrecking. Did that the other day. Come back. If something's wrong in your shop, you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear a machine that's not running right or something, So a train came by, and I heard click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. And I said, we ain't got no click, clacks on this track. It's all welded rail coming through here. And I said, something's wrong. And I got out there and went to looking, and every time one of those cars went over this spot, it would dip like that and like roll, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Train goes by. I go out there. They got 4 cross ties with no rock up under them.
Really?
It's completely washed out and just hovering. And when that train comes through, the weight of that train is dipping that rail down. And so I called CSX, and I was like, not an emergency, but may want to come out here and take a look at this. Like it's under a lot of stress. So I think they sent somebody out to fix it.
I mean, that could have been bad. What if there's some kind of chemical on that thing in it?
And there is all the time.
Tipped over.
Dude, they ship some wild stuff through here.
I'm sure.
Like, ethanol or whatever, a lot of flammable, super flammable stuff, some sort of acid that'll melt your skin off. It comes through here every now and then.
If they have a spill though, just you got to have it in your protocol to go get your waste barrel and just go dump it over there with it too.
Get rid of that.
I mean, while they're cleaning up, might as well clean up your paint overflow too.
That's another thing that'll catch you off guard. I'm over there dumping paint, and it's freaking at the bottom of the funnel. And I was like, uh-oh. This I'm going to slap full,
barrels full.
Like crap. So I called them, and they're like, yeah, we'll come out there the week of April 6th. And I said, well, don't bring a barrel. I've got barrels because I order now my thinner in a 55-gallon drum. So now I don't have to buy a drum. I can just swap them out,
That's good.
Yeah. But it's just the way it is.
You go through the thinner fast enough to make that work all the time?
No, I'm going to have a surplus of thinner barrels.
Well, you're going through it faster.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you can make you a barbecue grill or something.
Yeah. You could hold a match over one that's still got that much in the bottom of it. And the rest of the 55-gallon drum is vapor. You get a barbecue grill real quick.
Speaking of, I was getting fuel the other day, And tell me if I was kind of overreacting, but this jackleg pulls up at the fuel pump, cigarette in mouth, jumps out, and just starts pumping fuel.
I wouldn't do it.
And walking around. Now he's pumping diesel. So, I mean, so to be honest, but I'm like, there's a lot of, there's just a potential for a lot of vapor, to be in the air over here,
It's crazy that you say that. I mean, I did catch my truck on fire one time in high school.
You did.
At the gas pump because I got back in the truck while I was fueling up and then got out, and my fleece jacket, you remember how staticky them things were? I went to touch the truck right above the gas tank and it sparked and lit the vapors on fire. And anyway, speaking of cigarettes around diesel fuel, I picked Jesus up the other day in Greenville. I don't know if you know that, but he's in Greenville. And
Greenville
he was
needs
hanging
him.
out.
I was there for Easter. They need a lot of him.
Trey goes in the Chevron station. And I'm out there pumping diesel.
We went there too. They're the only place that got boiled peanuts in town.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how old they are, but
the girls ate them without repercussions. So,
okay. And a dude walks up and says, "Excuse me, sir. I was just wondering." I'm thinking, "Oop, I'm not fixing to give you any money." He said, "I don't need any money. I just need you to give me a ride to Pioneer. I'm trying to get to Pioneer Electric." I was like, he goes, "I'll ride on the back of the truck. I ain't trying to get in your cab or nothing." Normal looking dude, right? Like wasn't drunk, wasn't high on drugs that I could tell. And I said, "Okay, I'll take you to Pioneer." And he goes, "I've been out here waiting for a truck with a dude or two dudes in it." He said, "I'm not going to ask a woman to ride with him, obviously." And I said, "Yeah, hop on the back." So slowest diesel pump in the world, by the way, of course. And he tells me that he is Jesus Christ.
Superstar.
And he says, "I've got two brothers, John 1 and John." I'm not lying, dude. He said, "I got two brothers, John 1 and John 2. You ever heard of them?" I said, "Yeah, I've read about them." He goes, "Yep, those are my brothers." And he goes, "Also, my wife is Jesus. I know a lot of people don't think a woman could be Jesus, but she is. And I got a son that's Jesus." And I was like, "All right, pal, here we go." Right? Trey's still in the store.
Okay.
Dude is sitting on the back of my truck on a cooler. I'm pumping diesel. He said, "The devil, the same one that got me in the garden, the devil came and tried to kill me by putting a syringe in my side filled with crack cocaine and some other kind of drug."
Now he's explaining his drug screening.
Yeah. He said, "I went to the hospital. They didn't feed me for 2 weeks, almost died." I'm like, okay, so there's just no
way,
no end to what this dude is going to say. Trey comes out to see this dude on the back of the truck and me talking. And and Trey's a good bodyguard dude. Like he don't play around. So he come and he stands about 2 foot behind me. He opens the driver's door because that's where the pistol is. He opens the door and he stands there. And I kind of signal to him, it's fine, whatever. And so the dude's just talking. And I said, "Yeah, I'll give you a ride to Pie." And he also said, if you have memory problems, to eat a bunch of seeds, eat any kind of fruit seed.
Well, that put me in the hospital. I got diverticulitis. That'll kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yep.
Well, he must have been telling you. He wouldn't have told me that because he would have known I had.
He would have known.
Yeah, he'd have known I had diverticulitis. You just drink water.
So now, believe it or not, Jesus bought this truck off of this guy and gave the guy his debit card to hold until the truck came in. All right. But the guy don't have a cell phone plan because he's got to be on Wi-Fi, and he's trying to get to Pioneer so he can mooch off of there. Apparently they have a free Wi-Fi signal out there or something. So he can call his buddy to come and pick him up in the truck and give him his debit card back. And he's going to drive down to Georgiana or something like that where his house is. Oh yeah.
I'd have to say,
I was forced.
McDonald's has got free Wi-Fi. You just get off and McDonald's right behind this store. Just jump the hill and you'll have Wi-Fi.
I said, "Look, you know how it is pulling out at Chevron." I said, "I'm going to try to go left, but I'm going to give you 30 seconds. And if traffic ain't clear, I'm going to take a right. We're going to go back around Alabama Power, and we're going to go back that way." He said, "Okay." He said, "Well,
is he from Greenville? Does he know where you're talking about going? Does he know about going around the bypass?"
I don't know if he knew that.
He's Jesus. Never mind. He knows where you're going.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Stupid
He's got
questions.
2 brothers, John 1 and John 2.
I didn't mean to ask stupid questions. I apologize.
So he said, "Are you still going to take me?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take you. We just may have to go another way."
You should have said, "Hey, will you free wheel traffic to be open for so we can go left? It's faster that way."
Yeah, hold your hand up. Walk on water or something out there. Well, don't forget, I've got a 102-inch whip on my truck for the CB antenna.
Of course you do.
All right. So I told Trey, I said, "I've got to go under the the overpass in downtown. And he goes, okay. I said, you just record. I don't know what that antenna whip is going to do, but you just record it. So Cuz gets his cell phone and shoots it into the rearview mirror where you can see the guy on the back of the truck. And I go under that underpass, I don't know, 25 miles an hour.
Where is he at now? Is he still sitting on the cooler?
No, he is before we left, he sat down in the bed.
Is he on the wheel well or all the way down?
No, he's back against the tailgate.
Okay. All the way on his butt against the tailgate.
All the way on his butt.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going under the underpass.
Facing where this whip is fixing to come from.
Bingo.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody understands the picture.
Yep. Paint a picture.
Being painted here.
Yep. That whip hits that overpass.
If you don't, so I know nobody out there knows, well, 4 people out there know what we're talking about. The overpass is an old train bridge. It's been hit 9 bazillion times. Every little town has got one of these somewhere close to them. It's a 10-foot, I think it's a 10-foot clearance bridge. It's not tall. Like 18-wheelers can't go underneath it. So this 102-inch whip is definitely hitting the bridge. Like there's no question about that.
Yeah, but I'm thinking,
and it's kind of a violent dip in the middle of it too. Like it.
Yeah, you dip down under the bridge.
Yeah, it's almost like they used the roadway under the bridge also as a ditch, because it's kind of a deep V, you know.
Yeah, and then the Greenville engineers put a traffic light right as you come out from under the bridge that you cannot see while you're under the bridge. So it's just, hey, is anybody's game when you come out with that.
We could be wide open, or we could be slamming on brakes as soon as we get on this bridge.
We go, and I've got this on video. I will send this to you. All right. The antenna, I thought it was going to hit the top of the antenna and just kind of scrape it. No, it hit it like here, halfway down.
Good fold over.
It whips that antenna down to within 2 inches of this dude's face. And he heard it bang. And then he looks, and about that time, this antenna comes down and goes, like almost hits him in the nose. And he is freaking out, dude, on the back of the truck. So Trey goes to laughing, and he stops the video.
I think Jesus would have seen that coming.
He probably should have. He wouldn't have been hurt, though. You know, I mean, Jesus. So anyway, the whip comes down. I mean, barely, just about grazes this dude's nose. And you can see him going, what the, on the back of the truck. And he's looking around like he didn't know where it was, you know. And then Trey hollers out the window, hey, you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I didn't see that coming. And dude, I am crying, laughing in the cab of the truck. Now we get to Pioneer. Before I stop, he stands up. So of course, then I have to stop, and he's like catching his balance. You know, he's trying not to fall.
Walking on water.
Yep. He hops off the back of the truck, says, appreciate it, boys. And I pull off. And Trey's like, I go into the gas station for 5 minutes.
And this is what I come back to.
And I come out, and you've got Jesus on the back of your truck, and he's talking about eating seeds for memory loss, and the devil giving him a shot of cocaine trying to kill him. I said, buddy, you don't never know, man. He said, you're right about that. You don't never know.
Never know which way your day is going to go. Wow. Well, I don't.
You don't see that a lot in Greenville.
You don't see that a lot anywhere. Like, that's, well, maybe Portland or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was, I mean, he was there. He was, you know, I'm just telling you what the man said.
Well,
but I will send you that video, dude, of that antenna.
I'm going to post it.
Coming back and almost hitting him.
Post it.
Yeah, post it. I mean, it was hilarious, dude. It was so funny.
Man.
Like, I wish you could hear the noise that antenna made when it hit that overpass and came down and almost hit that guy.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
And his arms went up, man. I don't know if he thought it was being resurrected or what it was, but he was just like, you know, and dude, if it would have hit him, it probably would have hurt him. Like, I never thought it would be that violent,
right.
But it was absolutely violent.
Well, in true fashion, I have no idea what that story has anything to do with cabinetry or woodworking or anything, but I'm so glad that you told it.
Yep.
But the problem is I don't know how to top that in this session.
Yeah. Well, you know, we started telling stories. You got hung up by the MDF.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know.
Which is wood at a cabinet shop.
Yeah.
But I'm still so glad you told that story.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be hilarious. When you see the video, you're gonna be like, okay,
yeah,
all right, I see.
I'm just sorry everybody had to wait till the end of the podcast to understand why it's titled.
It's like a reward.
Mitch met Jesus.
Mitch almost killed Jesus with his whip antenna.
Right? Oh my God! CNCs, cabinetry, and Jesus.
Yep. We got it all. We got it all here. Let's see. I think that's about it. The only other thing I had on here that I wanted to cover, and it is cabinet related, is titled Materials Went Up, Now What?
Eat it or pass it along.
Seems like an easy question, right?
Only choice you got.
The problem is, where it gets complicated is, I could say, because doors went up 10%, lumber and plywood went up about 17% on average. So what happens is
Fuel
January,
has gone up.
Yeah, fuel has gone up. Thanks a lot. Let's trade it on the global market. Stupid. Anyway, you get a house quote in January, all right? You start in March. You quote it in January. April, May, June, July comes along. Cabinet guy's there and says, yeah, I'll do it. Here's what it's going to cost. Then you wait 2 or 3 weeks for the house to be ready for cabinets. And in that 2 or 3 weeks, price goes up. What do you do? Right. So obviously you have to be careful. I could call the builder and say, hey, we're going up so much on this job. Right. That doesn't sit well with a lot of people. You've already quoted this job. And let's say you guarantee you quote for 30 days. You're still in poo-poo. Right.
Yeah. Cause you're still risking losing the job or losing some money. Like you're still on a teeter-totter.
So when I got the phone call from Vaughn and they said, hey, just heads up, our materials going up. They told me 20. He said, plan on 20 for everything. I said, okay, good. Shane calls, says, hey, heads up, doors are going. Cause imagine that wood goes up, doors go up. But it's, he said, the doors are going up 10%. I hung up the phone, called the builders. Hey, we're going to have to go up. I even went through the trouble of pulling up an invoice from January and pulling up an invoice from the end of February after prices has raised up. It's got the dates on there, what I ordered. I sent it to them, be like, I know you don't think I'm lying about it, but here's the actual difference in what these materials cost. And they're like, just work it up and let us know. Both of them, neither one of them said, well, we're going to find somebody else, right? They're like, well, you can't eat that. We'll work it out. And I said, yeah, but I do understand that you've already got a quote. We're getting close to the end of the job. By the time cabinets go in, you ain't got a whole lot left, right? I can't put another $4,000 on this job and expect you guys to stay in budget. I said, so I'm going to quote it. Just know now, starting today, whenever you quote a job, this is my foot price now. So, that handles everything, in the next 7-8 months. They've got time to adjust things or whatever. And I said, I'm going to send you the price. If we're $300 over budget, obviously I'll eat that, no problem. It's, if we're $2,000 over budget, we may have to work something out. And both of them were like, yeah, we'll see, just shoot it and let's see where we're at. And they can explain to the customer, hey, here's what happened between January and September, crap happens. But they also have, and I know they'll probably take, they'll probably not, let's say we're 2,000 over, I'll eat 500. There's 1,500 left. The builder will probably eat 700-800, and then the homeowner will pay the rest of it. So everybody kind of gets screwed a little bit,
Yeah. The problem is, or the hard part is, I guess, as the cabinet guy, you forget that also the trim guy, the electrician, like if there's a material increase, it's usually across the board because it's, especially, without getting to a political conversation, but, there's, with the tariff situation, that it can fluctuate, and yeah, it's a hard bag to be in because everybody's got some cushion. Everybody's building in cushion, kind of like what you just said, you're willing to lose a little, they're willing to, but the element of surprise on the homeowner is not fun for anybody,
Right.
and you got to, so everybody's got to figure out how to navigate that because like I said, it's not, the builder doesn't have to just say, hey, your cabinetry is going to be another $1,000. Your electrical is going to be more, your paint could be more, like everything because unfortunately, we import a bunch of crap instead of having it made here.
Right. When you tariff 50 countries, you're going to be impacted no matter what you do. You're going to be impacted building a house. Your flooring, your faucets, your everything is impacted by that. And I've seen the blowhards. Well, I just tell them it went up there. They can kiss my tail. You don't operate your business like that or you wouldn't be in business. That's the truth.
Or you
of it.
won't be in business for long.
You won't be. That's the last job you're doing for that builder if you even get paid. And he's fixing to nitpick you, and he's going to cost you way more than $3,000 in stupid callbacks that he would have let go. Don't sit and act like you're just out calling the shot. These guys that act like they just I can't stand that junk. There's a time to not put up with any crap. There's a time that you have to stand your ground, and that time is going to come, and you're going to have a difficult conversation with somebody. But this is not the time when you've been working for these two builders for 10 years and you've never had one iota of a problem out of either one of them. And they give you a lot of money every year and they help you and you help them, and they do things for you that you don't have to do that's going to cost you another trip. All that kind of stuff comes into play. But
yeah, it's I won't go into it because it would be a long story, but I recently went through this. I'm still kind of in it. The scenario where what I did for you 2 weeks ago is not being remembered. You're only thinking about what I did for you today. And that is it's a dangerous mindset for somebody to get into, because, just because you're not getting what you expected today, you got it, last week, plus more, than you bargained for. So you've got to, that's not the best wording of the situation, but you've got to learn, you got to be able to respect the big picture of it, not just the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And the big picture is when you leave and you're loading up your tools, you can turn around to that homeowner and you can say, man, y'all have a great weekend. Nice to meet you guys, and move on with your life.
And I hope I never see you again, because I've built you a quality project that you're not out of ugliness, but I have built you a quality product that you should never need me again.
Yep, that's why we're here. You can get on your soapbox and you can say that you're worth $1,500 a foot, and nobody's going to believe you. You can say all this crap, and you can act like, and the ones, I don't set cabinets unless the air conditioner's on. Alabama Power requires their house to be about 90% done before they hook the meter up, including cabinets. So good luck putting them in houses around here. It's just not plausible.
I would just like the next house we do to have lights in it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's been a new experience.
And think about the hurdles that builder is jumping for you.
Yeah.
Like in my situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and think about how many conversations he had for you that you don't even know about.
Exactly.
How many, I bet you that you could say there's probably 10 calls that per job on a full house build that a builder has intercepted for you that you probably don't even know about.
100% right. Yep. Yep. And sometimes they do it while I'm there. The customer will be like, wow, that, I was thinking maybe we could do something like that. And, one of them will be like, Mitch can do it, but you have to understand the world he lives in is it's done at his shop. He brings it here finished and installs it. That comes with a price. Now, if you want me to build you a set of pantry shelves in here for 1/10 of that price, I can do that. But if you want all this stuff, he has to do it, and he can't spray that stuff in your house. Things like that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you need to kind of understand how this world works, and they do. They intercede for us a lot. Well, for me, I know, I don't know about everybody else's builder across the country, but, because there's bad builders out there just as like there is good builders.
For sure.
But, having that, you have to look at it as a picture. Having that picture of these builders, you want to be fair to them. How does it look if that builder says, I built this house for $413,000? You get to the end and it goes to $418,000. They don't have any money,
right?
Because the cabinet guy, whatever, it's going to make them look bad. It's going to make you look bad. It's going to make contractors look bad. And
everybody's got a problem if they can't close.
That's right. That's right. And so it's just one of those things that as throw another ball in here that we're juggling. But your suppliers, I think that there should be a minimum like that. The plywood manufacturer says, okay, in 4 weeks, we're going up, and then pass that down immediately. And then, I think we should have a buffer time. Like, don't call me and be like, tomorrow the price is going up. I don't think, not in something like this. If we're buying a can of Coke and it goes up 20 cents, that's different. Right.
Yeah. Cause it's a multiple, when you're like, when somebody says, well, plywood went up $3 a sheet. Well, I give you an example. Like this plywood that we're talking about bringing in for doors is $65 a sheet. And he said, and our guy said, if you buy a unit, I think I can do it for $62 a sheet. And you're like, oh wow, thank you for the $3 per sheet.
Yeah.
You got to, you're buying a unit, you're buying 60 sheets of it, or, whatever particularly falls in that unit. Let's just say it's 50 to 60 sheets. Okay. Now we're talking about something now. I mean, yeah, okay. 100, let's just say best case scenario, $150, but I've got to buy this same unit 6 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it goes back to my statement of just, you got to be cautious of being narrow-minded in the moment. And like my situation I'm going through, I completely don't believe that there was any malicious intent. It was just being narrow-minded in that particular moment, and not looking up and looking around, and it is a hard thing to balance, but and especially the scenario you're talking about, because it scales, because there's multiple people involved that have to figure out the balance too,
And these builders have 8-10 quotes out at a time.
Yeah.
And now all of those quotes just changed by thousands of dollars, and they're mitigating that. Like they're trying to stop a train wreck.
Yeah.
Like when we built our house, I told him, I said, you have, let's just say $200,000. That's what you have to build this house. I do not have $100 bill if you go over. And I said, so whatever you quote, you're going to have to build this house within that, or we're going to have to cut something that we want, and that's just the way it is. That I don't have the money to go over and, just whatever. I said, so you're going to have to keep a tight eye on it. And we came in $7,000 under budget, because he padded more than that on the job. And then we ran into a couple of things that cost a little bit more than what he thought. But, he had that money in there. So by the time it was done, we were fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully everybody's got enough in their profit margin to give them some buffer without it being painful.
Yeah, I'm not going to lose a $60,000 job, $40,000 job over to having to eat $300. I'm not that closed-minded. I'm not that, egotistical or whatever. This is business, dude. We're here to make money. I get that. But at the same time, I showed up with an island at the customer's house, and they said, what color is that island? And I said, it's cyberspace. And they go, oh, no. I said, was that wrong? Because that's what is on the notes, No, we changed it. And I thought we might have told the builder, I'm not sure, whatever. But we painted everything else in here iron ore. And now we want the island to be painted iron ore to match everything else. First thing they said was, if you'll repaint it, obviously we'll pay you to repaint it. And I said, okay. I said, it's going to be $240, cover your paint and labor to, scuff this up and put another coat on it. I got to come back out here anyway. It's not a big deal, whatever. And that was the honest truth of it. I could have said, well, it's change order. I got a $300 minimum change order, paints, $600 of labor. They would have been pissed. They would have. And then what does a pissed off homeowner do when you get ready to leave?
It just gets worse. Well, before you even leave.
They're going to go through there with a magnifying glass. Yeah. And this screw isn't set in as far as this other screw. This shelf has a little bit of tear out on the bottom. Just stuff that doesn't matter. You're fixing to eat that money. I promise you, you can go in there, like I said, and try to be Mr. Tough Guy, but the homeowner's got the keys.
Yeah.
And you can get in, put a lien on the house. You can get in litigation. You can get in all this stuff, charge them a fair rate, keep the customer happy. And they were elated. They were like, oh man, we thought you'd be so mad. And I said, no, ma'am, this is what I do for a living. I can paint yours. I can paint somebody else's. It don't matter.
I got to paint tomorrow. So whatever I'm painting. Don't matter.
It's already on the trailer. We hadn't had it installed. I didn't even have to unload it.
Oh, that's right? Even better.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. And we came in, we fixed it. And now the builder's happy.
So, but I said, but you sure you don't want to come look at it and make sure you don't want the island as an accent color.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's done. Yeah. Do you want to look at it?
Yeah. And they were super cool about it, dude, and actually, talked to him afterwards, after we got done, and she sent me a text message that said these cabinets are gorgeous, whatever. And there was somebody else that I did a job for that the oven didn't fit. They gave me the cutout size. Obviously, it was wrong. Oven slid all the way in the hole. So I had to come back and trim that out, do whatever. I didn't do a charge for that. I could have done it. I got to go back anyway. Right. It's not an extra trip. And I just dropped stuff off, and Brandon went through there and he said, I'll handle it, dude. Don't worry about it. Tick, 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 tick. Got a text message from him about how wonderful the cabinets look. whatever. Did a job for Jason. All that stuff went good. And he called me and he told me, he said that the homeowner just got out. He said, I told him I left. I said, we're done. I left. He goes, I know. Like, homeowner texted me, dude. I said, golly. I'm trying to think, what in the world did I do? They seemed cool the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
Golly, I hope I said, what'd they say? He goes, well, they texted me and said that these cabinets were top shelf. And I was like, oh, golly. I said, are you doing that on purpose? He's like, yeah, I just messed with you, But that's the whole idea.
And that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand is people who care about the job that they do, how much anxiety they carry with them when they leave a job.
It is.
Like,
it is.
It's like, man, I hope they're satisfied. I hope I don't hear it. I mean, I carry it,
Yep.
But, I recently, we've got all these graduations going. And so we were in Chattanooga and we hired this guy to do some graduation pictures for Taylor. And we were walking around the campus and he's a manager at, where Carson works. And I probably shouldn't, I don't want to get anybody in trouble or anything. So he does this as kind of like a moonlighting thing. And, we're talking, and I was like, hey man, I was like, I know we're like right at the time, it was a 2-hour window. I said, I know we're right at our time. I said, but there's one more picture I'd like for you to take. I said, she hasn't taken any pictures, like that says like engineering building, like engineering, like kind of, with her major. I said, I'll pay if if you'll stick around for a few minutes. There's a sign right there, that goes to the engineering building. I said, I'd like to take a picture with her there. Her and I there together. And, he goes, oh man, he goes, that's fine. He goes, you guys have been great. He's like, I was like, no, but we're going to carry you over your time. He's like, oh, he's like, that happens a lot. He's like, don't sweat it. And I said, dude, I'm just going to tell you one thing. I said, and you do what you want to with it. I said, but don't forget that time is your most precious commodity.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you never, ever are going to get it back. I said, so be respectful of your client's time. I was like, but that doesn't mean that you don't require them to be respectful of your time. Like there's a window, right? And we were talking more. I was like, obviously there's a window, that you can operate in. But if somebody says, hey, I need a little bit more time and, I was like, don't feel bad about letting them pay you for your time. Like you're a photographer. Like that's what you are. You're giving up time. I mean, it's not like you're spending on film, I mean, you've got your equipment, which once you buy, you're kind of done. I would assume you buy a bunch of photography equipment a lot, maybe upgrades, or if you break something. I was like, it's not like you're developing film anymore, and then your other side is time sitting down, editing the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so your whole thing is time, but I was like, but just make sure that, your respect, be on time and, give them their full hour, window, whatever you give them, but don't just let them drag you, just because you're a nice guy, and he's a super nice guy, and that's why we were having the conversation, because I could totally see him having a hard time telling somebody, no, it's your time, it's now 2.5 hours. Your time is up, I mean, so there's it's a hard balance sometimes, I had a client just recently, we like redid part of the kitchen, but we didn't touch any of the existing kitchen. And I showed up to put handles on the part that we built. And her expectation was that we were going to put handles on all the kitchen. I didn't want to do it, but I kind of evaluated this client, and she had been kind of drugged through the ringer, not by us, but by the finisher and by some other contractors. And like I installed these cabinets before Thanksgiving, and we're just now going back to put handles on last week, first week, second week of April, and I was like, I will put your handles on for you. Like, I don't really have the time. I didn't really budget that time for your job. I was like, but I feel like contractors have drug you over the coals so bad,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the one that gives up the time and tries to help you out, and she was, super thankful, and appreciative, but what do you think happened? It was, well, why are you doing that? And I was like,
yeah,
son of a gun. Like,
got me.
And she brought out those stupid twist turn latch deals.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It ain't gonna be a knob.
As part of the, I was like, boy, you really stepped right in it, didn't you? I mean, but sometimes doing the right thing doesn't look like the right thing.
Well, I think that's it. I think we've got it. I think that's a good spot to call it.
Yeah.
Be good to your people. I promise you guys, man, it may feel like you're sacrificing just so much and this and that, but do that little bit of extra and you'll get it back. You'll get it back sevenfold. I guarantee you that much. Whatever you give, you'll get it back. I'm living proof of that, man.
Dude.
You know, we do I don't let anybody take advantage of me per se, but I'll do a couple extra things that they want me to do or something, you know, and it always will work out in your favor. Maybe not on that job. It might be the next job, but it's always going to work out in your favor.
Yeah. Do the right thing. Admit when you do something wrong.
That's a big one.
And just own it. You know, I think that has kept me out of trouble more times than not with a client is just admitting, you know. I mean, I had the first full kitchen I did. I mean, it went awful. I mean, and I just had to look at the client at the end. I said, you know what? I said, this is 100% on me. I said, I completely misunderstood what it took to manage a project of this size. And this is the first one that I've ever done. I was like, and I apologize that it's been clunky, you know. And I think she was, you know, understanding of what I was saying and sympathetic. I mean, she certainly made me feel like she was, you know.
Yeah.
And you hope that's genuine. You know, they don't, yeah, thanks, you know, and then, you know, drop you a bad Google review or something, you know. But, you know, it hurts to do the right thing sometimes. It really does. I mean, it sometimes it's painful, but
you'll always get it back.
I got to walk away, you know, knowing that I tried, you know, to do the right thing. And that don't mean that that doesn't mean you're not going to mess up.
Yeah.
That's not a free pass for messing up, but it definitely does, you know, help smooth things over. But yeah, follow Adam Crowder's leave. Leave. I'm done. I'm done.
Get done. Over with. That's it.
Done.
That's it.
You're done.
Buy a copy of the book. It is on Amazon.
Yeah, mine's here today.
We're not getting paid to promote it or anything like that. But I'm coming a little bit. She's barking at me now. But yeah, go get it.
It's on Amazon. It's a cheap book, right? It was like $15.
Yeah, something like that. $13, $15, something like that. Help the man out. Read his story. I mean, it lines up perfectly. It's relevant to the podcast. I can promise you that. It's the same concept. But get that. Sorry it took us so long.
But thanks for the boot in the butt too.
That's right. I mean, keep pushing us.
We need it because it's not from being lazy. I can assure you all that. I mean, I will call myself a lot of things, but lazy is not anything I would call either one of us ever. Just, you know, trying to be too successful at too many things, I guess, maybe. I don't know, but
that's it. We're overdoing it. That's all. We're too good at what we do, really.
But we feel this. I mean, I feel that this has got legs, and I feel that it's got some purpose. And to me, if it encourages 1 or 2 Adams a year, so be it. Fun, you know. And it makes me feel better because today was one of those days I didn't want to do this. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll go home with a little bit clearer head and a little bit better mindset for tomorrow. And
as this is therapy for us, man. It helps us out.
Dark, putting on doors because they still don't have lights in this house. But it's all good. But no, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being here, Mitch. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it. We need to do it again sometime. You know, maybe
6 to 8 months.
September.
We'll talk to you.
Yeah. We'll be in touch. We'll have plenty more stuff to go over. We just, you know, had to catch up on a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff going on. We ain't slowing down. I can promise you that.
No.
And
more stories to come for sure.
Yep. So just keep an eye out on the podcast. You never know what we're gonna have up our sleeve.
Yeah, you never know because we sure as hell don't know.
We sure don't. Who knows? Thank y'all, man. Y'all enjoy it. Appreciate it. Yeah, bring all 10 of them back. You know the rules.
See ya.